Well, tomorrow, Jaguars player Leonard Fournette will host a peaceful protest walk starting at City Hall in Jacksonville. That's at 10 a.m. He released details of that. He actually, before the Jaguars did their peaceful protest on Friday morning, Fournette had also already said that he was going to do something, then kind of came out with a tweet, said, okay, it will be this week, meaning this week right now that we're in, and on the weekend provided some detail of that 10 a.m. Tomorrow. So it will remain a conversation, and we will continue to discuss it as it pertains to sports, but also we also have some sports activity. NASCAR yesterday, Major League Baseball with another offer, at least sources say. There were some reports. You want to go with your sources say what? Austin Lane. And the NBA, it's on in the NBA. Now we just have to wait. Isn't there a level of disappointment about that? It's like, okay, now we know exactly what the NBA is doing, but hey, wait till like late July. I've never anticipated NBA games so much in my life.
Right.
This weekend we were debating the schedule and what we thought teams would.
Yeah, you're bored.
But it was raining. I couldn't even go golfing this weekend. But we were talking about is how disappointing will it be if actually by the time the playoffs are supposed to start, there isn't a 9th seed and an 8th seed like play-in tournament that happens. You know what I mean? Like if the team is 4 games away, and you don't get a say Memphis versus Portland or whatever
that
it is,
play in.
It almost has to happen now, or I'm going to be disappointed.
Yeah, I hear you. You just want a little something different. And what I've been curious about the whole time is what kind of procedures do they take from something like this? Maybe just that, and will they do that down the road in the future? Will it become part of the NBA? That little wild card, aspect to it. We'll see.
The problem is, I mean, you have this fun debate about that, and then you go, well, either team that goes in the 8th, they're most likely just going to lose to the Lakers in 4.
Yeah, and well, that's what I want to bring up today, right? Everybody says Lakers, everybody says Bucks, and you can sprinkle in some other teams. But you have about 4 teams, right? 2 to 4 teams. Is that fair?
Yeah, I would say that
the heavy money's on, right?
I would say Lakers, Bucks,
Clippers.
maybe Clippers, and maybe the Celtics. I mean, from the East.
I wouldn't even put Celtics on that list. Like,
so who do you have from the East, though?
Nobody.
Nobody? Just the Bucks?
So it's is Toronto in that mix? I don't think so, right? The Bucks are such a heavy favorite in the East.
I would say they're heavy favorite. I would say teams like, and it's going to sound like I'm saying a homer, but Ben Simmons is actually healthy. He wasn't going to actually play in the playoffs.
Okay, but they would fit more in the Celtics and Toronto category.
Yes,
I don't think you are not running to Vegas or your offshore account or wherever and putting money on any of those teams if you could. I don't think. You're not. You're putting money on the Bucks.
Well, I'm putting money on the Bucks, but I'm just saying I'm not mad at the Celtics whatsoever.
Okay, well, that's going to be the question today.
That's
though.
just
kind of who is the sleeper team?
That's just me.
But I would still fit the Sixers and all the rest into sleeper mode here. I would say who's going to win outside of the Lakers, outside of the Clippers, outside of the Bucks when this thing does get going? Is there a team that's kind of laying there that's like, wait a minute now, don't sleep on them? And the Sixers might be an example because of the health, right? Because of this layoff, did they get healthier?
And you get 2 months of not having to hear essentially horrible things about your team because they were probably one of the most disappointing teams this year. And
just think how many jump shots Ben Simmons could at least attempt in the last couple of months.
I don't know. He had back problems. I don't even know, how much he was able to get done.
I mean, he'll be firing them up from 35 feet when they come back.
Oh, man. From the land of good and plenty, Brent.
So, anyway, that is one of the topics today, a sleeper in the NBA outside of those favorites. I'm torn on this whole – I'm a big LeBron fan. I think we've said that before on the show. But I just don't know if I want to see LeBron in a Lakers uniform. I mean, would I do it for the story? Would I do it for, Kobe Bryant passes away this year. The Lakers win the championship in 2020. And LeBron gets another one. I just don't know if I can do that.
Well, you know what's going to happen then? Because then it's the GOAT conversation because that's what we like right now as a country. Yeah. Who's better, Michael Jordan, LeBron James? If LeBron James wins another one with a new team, that's going to be the narrative again. So I'm just saying, buckle your seatbelts.
It's fine. It's fine if there's conversations like that. But I think right after like the Last Dance, what'll be interesting is you come out after the Last Dance, I think it was 73%, whatever poll this was. Somebody did a poll, and it was a pretty legitimate poll. It wasn't like I just threw it out on Twitter and 1,000 people responded. I think it was a pretty hefty poll, and it was 73% said Jordan was the greatest.
Yeah.
Now I think a lot of people, like again, most people, I thought it would even be higher. right? Yep. And I love the conversation. I think LeBron has put himself in the talk in recent years. I do think the championships are so important when we discuss these things that people aren't going to dismiss 6 versus 3 or even 6 versus 4. But because we like the most recent, what have you done for me lately? If the Lakers were to win, and by October you ask that question again, what would it go down to?
See, I think,
right? What would 73% drop to? There's no way it would go up. If he wins another championship and he wins with the Lakers, and now he's won with 3 different teams, it will go down, because then I could say, well, they had Phil and Scotty, and if they didn't keep it together, if Jordan went somewhere else, would they have won a championship? Yeah. I'm just saying it will go from 73% to like 60%.
But I would also say, I think when we are all said and done with LeBron's career, depending on how this goes, this coronavirus season will be a huge arguing point against him or for him.
True.
In that, because if he wins, they're going to go, well, yeah, he had 2 months off. Of course he's going to win. He got to heal up. He got a healthy team. And if he loses, they're going to say, well, they were going in with so much momentum. He lost all of that. And how do you expect him to
how
pick
do you
it
restart
up?
the engine when you're 35 and you played 17 years?
But also keep in mind, every team's going through this. It's not just him.
True.
So, to say, well, he had the coronavirus on his benefit. Well, one could say, older teams, maybe like the Spurs, and obviously Aldridge's going to be out for the season now, so the Spurs probably aren't going to do anything in the playoffs. But, when you have these older teams, well, you can point the finger at them, too. I can point the finger at the Mavericks and say, well, now that Kristaps is finally getting healthy again, well, now him and Luka are probably the best 1-2 dynamic, big man to guard in the whole game. Maybe they have the advantage of the corona. So I think every team can find a little benefit, can find a little asterisk to say, you know what, we benefit from the coronavirus. So to say LeBron James would do it, I don't think is really fair.
Yeah, I agree.
No, but I think that'll be the argument. I mean,
it will. Either way,
against or
you
for any
right.
team. If the Bucks win, I guarantee you the haters are going to be out here saying, well, they only won because it's the coronavirus season. And, vice versa for any team that wins.
The funny thing is, great athletes don't use excuses to get themselves ready, but in hindsight, they use excuses to tell the story of how it went down. You know what I mean? Or we do it for them. Maybe it's not the athlete that does it, but we do it for them. And so you're right. There will be an asterisk on this season in all sports, likely, right? I mean, the NFL will say, oh, yeah, we missed that. Teams that don't do well, man, did we ever miss that April, May, and June? I mean, I don't know what we're going to do without no TA practice ever again. Yeah. I mean, there's no doubt, right? The Jaguars, if they fall short and really struggle, they'll say, man, this young team, we just got behind the 8 ball. What else could we do?
Let me ask you this, though. Is it going to be an excuse for Doug Marrone and Dave Caldwell?
It could be.
To keep their jobs?
You know what? It's really fascinating discussion is how – kind of like we did with Chris Conley the other day and had the discussion of him in the community, right? And him as a voice and a veteran presence in the locker room, been around the league, coming off a career year, by the way, too, which we didn't mention, we probably should. How that boosts him, in my opinion, maybe into this role in that locker room, which is void of leadership right now in terms of named leadership. And so might even warrant him having a captain's jersey on. Well, I think the same could be said from Shad Khan's point of view, not the public's, but Shad Khan's point of view on Doug Marrone and Dave Caldwell. They are now, at least at the start line of this, out in front of it. The op-ed from Shad Khan, but the action by Doug Marrone. Doug Marrone got a lot of credit last week from players and everybody else for listening and how he's handled it. Will they continue to do that? Will the steps that are being put in place for this movement, how well received that is from the players? Could they go to bat for him and be like, hey, this is a guy we want to go to battle with. Screw 6 and 10 or whatever else. Now, would Shad Khan be willing to go there? I don't know. Yeah. So it's just an interesting point, right? Will they? I don't know if they'll necessarily get a do-over because of the lost offseason on the field. I don't think so, to answer your question.
Okay.
But I do wonder if there's a little bit of an intangible going on this season across every organization in the NFL, given the recent stance from the NFL, given the action by players and also front offices and the messaging going on. I just don't know if it's clear cut right now because we don't know how much that will kind of weigh in the season. Right now it's an out-of-season thing. Will that still be a heavy topic? Will it be conversational? Will we see leadership and not so much pay attention to scoreboards in these NFL buildings with players and coaches and organizations? That we just don't know that yet. How prevalent is this topic right here that's in our country in September and October? You hope it is. You hope it's a prevalent discussion and conversation, but you also know sports hides things, in people's lives, everything. There's distractions. There'll be an election, by the way, that will take up a lot of conversation.
Sure.
So it'll be interesting to see how that factors in, maybe more so than hey, yeah, you get a little do-over because you didn't have OTAs and mini camps.
Yeah, I mean, it is going to be interesting to see because, we've kind of broken down the roster a little bit. We've broken down the personnel. And, I think that if the Jaguars win 6-7, I mean, do I dare say 8? I think 8 games would be we'd be throwing parades in the streets. Like if they can go 500, that would be just unreal. Because
I'll give you a little teaser. I'm doing something for John Ogier and Jaguars.com, and he gave this list of questions. I don't want to steal them. They're good questions, but I'll just say this. One of my lines in there is I feel like the ceiling, because I've said it before on this show, is like 8 wins for this Jags team.
Yeah.
I don't think they're as bad as everybody's predicting, but I also don't know if their ceiling is as high as other teams. I would say 8 or 9 max. But if they were to reach that, if they reach 9 wins somehow, just somehow, dream with us for a second, Doug Marrone would be in the running for Coach of the Year.
Sure.
And Gardner Minshew's now the future of this franchise for them to win 9 games.
Sure. Yeah. In a perfect world, why not? Thank you very much. It was nicely done.
That was part of the description when I did write this in, by the way.
So let's go ahead and say more realistically, let's say best case scenario, let's win 6 games. Okay. So the Jaguars win 6 games. Obviously, you have an owner in a front office who is very, very adamant about saying yes. Obviously, maybe we're planning for the future a little bit, letting guys like Calais Campbell go, letting guys like A.J. Boye go. But Shad Khan has said himself that, they expect to win in 2020 and beyond. So what do you have going against that right now? You have a couple things. Number one, you have a big draft this next year in 2021. You have a lot of draft capital that obviously Dave Caldwell himself is responsible for. You have the COVID-19, and then you also have, and I don't want to put them in the same boat here, but you have COVID-19, and you've had the fact that you have a very young team, the youngest in the NFL, that you couldn't really get your hands on, and kind of shape them around the culture because it's hard to do that during a Zoom call. Now, we'll see what happens in the next couple weeks or so. We'll see if guys get on the field. We'll see if guys get in, the locker room and all that stuff, but time will tell. But all we know right now is it's going to be different. Okay, then we have, everything going on right now with, the race relations, everything like that, the racial injustice. We have the Jaguars march as a team, set history in the NFL, if you will. Chris Conley says his stuff. Doug Marrone kind of leading the charge and everything. So you have that as well. Well, obviously that right there, in my opinion, that has made the team closer together. It has to. How could it not?
Oh, yeah.
Right? So that team is closer doing that than, before they actually took part in that protest. So the team's closer now. Obviously, I would say the team respects Doug Marrone. I'm not sure, exactly whose idea it was to come forward and have the protest, but it is a big part on Doug Marrone to say, you know what, guys, let's do this, okay? Because I'm not sure, and listen, I'm not going to be a naive here, but I'm not sure if every single NFL coach would have agreed to that right now. I really don't know. I can't say that wholeheartedly. So props on Doug Marrone for that.
We know they're the only one that's done it.
Yeah, exactly. So you have that as well, and listen, it's not right to say, well, Doug Marrone did this. Doug Marrone helped with the protest, so that's a shame of job security. But like you said, it's not necessarily the job security. It's the locker room going to bat for him. Okay, yeah. Because if Shad Khan's made one thing clear, it's that he's going to listen to his players. Okay, obviously Calais Campbell's gone now. Calais Campbell's a guy that Shad Khan listened to a lot. But I think Shad Khan right now, in order to build the culture for the future and to get those high-priced, those high-value free agents, he has to listen to players. Okay, he has to get the players' perspective. So once again, it's going to be a long season. We'll see what happens here. But assuming maybe they go 6 games, 7 games, whatever, that'll probably come up again, and obviously the players will go to bat for Doug Marrone. So I guess what I'm sitting here trying to say is if the Jaguars go 6-10, somehow go 7-9, I don't think it'd be out of the realm of possibility where Doug Marrone and Dave Caldwell keeps their job just from the entire thing that's going on. Now, not saying it's right. I'm just saying that's the way it is.
Well, take away a couple of the other things going on in the coronavirus pandemic and the Black Lives Matter movement here. That has obviously been a big talking point. The Jaguars, from a football-only perspective, we discussed this about a month ago, have maybe the lowest expectation they've ever had in franchise history, the lowest set of expectations. And I'm not talking about from within the building. I'm talking outside. And what does that do? That sets your coach and maybe even your quarterback and your GM and your front office in a very nice situation. Because who else in the NFL can say, hey, if we go 8-8, this place is almost throwing a parade. Nobody thought they'd go 8-8. I mean, that's just not the way. You start at 8-8 in the NFL.
True, but who else is responsible for getting to that point, though?
That's not, but that's a fair question. That's a fair critique, but
Sure,
that's not
there you
reality. The reality is we do this once a week.
Sure.
And I stick up for the roster and I stick up for Gardner Minshew, and then their publication will come out and say they're 32nd in the league. They're 31st in the league.
Okay.
They're 30th in the league. Nobody says they're 8-8. And so the bottom line is if they go 8-8 on this season, they are going to look like they exceeded expectations by a mile. And all that will do is look good on the coach and the front office, man.
But no.
Yes.
No, you know, Brent, how many fan bases right now around the NFL are going to say, you know what, if we go 8-8, probably don't win the division, but if we go 8-8, let's go celebrate. I'm saying how many franchises right now?
Not a lot.
So then what does that say?
That's what I'm saying. It's
so
genius.
How is that genius? What does that say about your franchise? Not good.
I listen. You're asking. The discussion is job security right now. From a job security standpoint, if I have to just go 8-8 and it looks like I've overachieved by a mile, that's great.
Do you think if the Browns go 8-8, they're going to be celebrating in Cleveland, saying, "Yes, we finally went 8-8. We went 500"?
Because their perception is they've got maybe one of the best offenses in the league, and this is their year to do something. It's totally different perception and expectation.
I'm just saying, if you're going to celebrate going 8-8 this year, then you have a loser mentality. So congratulations. Congratulations on having a loser mentality.
I think you're missing the point here.
I think you're missing the point.
No, you're not. No. Again, tell me what you just told me. The best case scenario you could see is the Jaguars getting 7 wins.
Correct.
That's their ceiling.
Absolutely.
So I'm saying if they go 8-8, that's even way more. You're going to be like, dang, Doug, you did a great job with this team.
You still ain't winning a division. What is the goal of an NFL team? Are we trying to win divisions here? Or are we trying to go 8-8?
I know we're trying. No, we're trying to win Super Bowls.
Okay,
that's what you're trying to do.
Sure.
But you're talking about two different things now, because I understand what the goal is. I also the question is job security. Like, what's it take to get Doug Marrone back? What's it take to feel like this thing's going in the right direction? And I'm telling you that if we sit here in late December and say, dang, they went 8-8 this year, man. Nobody expected that. I mean, this is in a good position. Like they've got all these draft picks. They've got all this cap space. Look at the young Look at Miles Jack the way he played, and DJ Chark did it again, and Gardner looks pretty good. I mean, look what they did. You're going to be bullish on the Jags at 8-8. You're not going to be disappointed.
I see where you're coming from, but once again, if you're celebrating a team going 8-8, and once again, I mean, I'm not sure what the Vegas odds are right now. The Jaguars going 8-8.
They're over/unders 4.5.
Whatever it is, okay. But the fact right now that we're talking about going 500 should deserve a celebration. Maybe it's time to ask the question: why are we here in the first place? Maybe it's time to ask the question: is that what we should really be celebrating, and what got us here?
I do think that's fair, but it's two different topics. We're celebrating maybe the job Doug Marrone did. That's different than where you are as an organization relative to the rest of the league.
I mean, and I'm going to argue that the head coach has a lot to do with where the organization's going to be in the past couple years.
It's no different than, hey, Kuz, you follow the NBA a bunch, right? So in the Sixers, right, when they rebuild that thing, somewhere along the way, right?
When we were trusting the process?
Yes, but when you were trusting the process, the fans in Philly were okay with when you got to 500, whatever year that was, year 2 or 3 of the process stuff. And, well, now it's the flip side. Now it's low. You're not living up to expectations. But in Philly, they were like, okay, this thing's going the right. I can see this. We got all this young talent. We got this. We got 500's not bad.
Yeah,
but you're right. You know what? They didn't make the playoffs. What's the difference?
But don't lie to yourself, man. The whole trust your process slogan, that was built on a joke. Like, they kept on saying trust the process as a joke. It was a hashtag that said trust the process. Okay, well, here we are 5 years later. Trust the process,
okay,
trust the process.
I'll give you the Atlanta Braves then. The Atlanta Braves rip down their team. They win whatever many games. And the fans in Atlanta are like, oh, my gosh, here we go again. By year 2, they start winning a little bit. And they're like, I can see this starting to happen a little bit. They're not. They're exceeding. They've won more games that next year. This thing's faster and going in the right direction, even though we didn't win the division, even though we didn't go to the playoffs, even though we didn't win a World Series, even though that's the ultimate goal. That's my point. Like, it's on the right track. Fan bases will celebrate on the right track. You're kidding yourself if they don't. I mean, I just gave you 2 examples. I can give you countless more.
I guess, I mean, you can celebrate being on the right track all you want, but once again, you have to ask yourself how you got there. Okay, like if you 8-8, yeah, that'd be a productive season. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. I'm saying right now, realistically, if the Jaguars win 6 games, that might exceed expectations. And I'm saying that if they win 6 games and people are excited about it, people are happy about it, then you have a loser's mentality, because you should never be excited for winning 6 games in a season. I don't care what the kind of roster you have. I guarantee right now, upon Jacksonville, maybe Miami, Cincinnati,
Washington,
for 4 teams. I think 4 teams. Right. Well, you know what? No, take that back, because I think Miami wants to win games this year.
Well, they won 5 last year.
Yeah. So take Miami out of it. So let's go Washington. Let's go Cincinnati and Jacksonville. Okay? If any of those guys wins 8 games, it'll be a great season for them. I get that. More realistically, those 6 games, those are the only teams right now in the NFL that'd be pretty ticked off if that happened.
I think you're right. By the way, I don't think 6 would be good enough to get us feeling the way I'm saying.
Okay.
I think you need at least 7, but I really think 8 is the number. I think you've got to go 500 to say, wow, man, this team might have a chance to do something now. Look at these draft picks. Look at the cap. Look at the way Gardner played. Look at some of the young, because the young talent then obviously rose to the top, right? Laviska Shenault, he played well if you got to 8-8. And I think people would be applauding Doug Marrone. I mean, that's really the moral of this story and this conversation. Whether it's right or wrong, I don't know, but it would be probably like the 4th best record in the last 12 years, too, if the Jags went 8-8. Yeah. I mean, or maybe even like the 3rd best.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, no, for sure.
I think it would. It would tie your 2010 team as the 2nd best.
Sure. Yep. No, I agree there.
But so I'm not saying it's right.
Yeah.
But it's reality.
Expectations
are so
low.
Listen,
if the Jaguars go 8-8, yes, Doug Marrone will keep his job. If the Jaguars go 8-8, should Jaguars fans be excited? Go ahead, have a celebration, do whatever you want to do. But I'm just saying, the fact that the bar is so low right now that we're celebrating. The Chicago Bears went 8-8 last year. They're ready to riot. They're ready to fire Ryan Pace right now. They said, Mr. Trubisky, we'll see you later. Leonard Floyd, thanks for playing. Have fun. Hit the road. Let's go and bring in Nick Foles. Let's go and turn this whole thing around, because 8-8 for the Chicago Bears is not acceptable. And you know what? Have you seen their roster? Nah. But guess what? It's the Chicago Bears. They're used to winning. 8-8, not acceptable. Even the Pittsburgh Steelers, through all that they had. They had Big Ben go down. Smith-Schuster gets hurt. James Conner gets hurt. They go 8-8. 8-8's not acceptable for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know why? Because they're accustomed to winning. So all I'm saying is, yes, I understand. Jacksonville Jaguars fans right now, if your team wins 8 wins this season, celebrate, do your thing. But I'm just saying, you got to snap out of it a little bit, okay? It's okay to ask for more. It's okay to ask for the playoffs. It's okay to ask for the Super Bowl. That's what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Well, they'll do that in 2021 if they go 8-8. Hey, when we come back, let's stay on the Jags for a bit, because there was a fun tweet out there today. Got me thinking a little bit. I'll share it with you and see if the Jags, one, have any of these players or kind of players or groups that you would sign up for, or 2, kind of what's the player you would look for if you were the Jacksonville Jaguars to change things, kind of change what we're talking about. I'll give you the full context of it when we come back. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly sunny and hot for Monday. Temperatures climbing back near 90 degrees with some sunshine. That daily afternoon thunderstorm threat limited to this afternoon, so watch out for some thunderstorms on the evening commute. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Corey Sima.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Buy one, get one wedding band sale through this Sunday at Beards Diamonds.
I call them 3 shirt days. That's when the summer heat in Jacksonville just sizzles. It's relentless, and you want to be prepared for it. Bold City Heating and Air will help you do that. Nothing worse than sweating in your own home and wondering, hey, what happened to the AC? We've been there before. Your air conditioning unit needs to be ready for the heat. It might need to get serviced. The hot weather is here, and Bold City Heating and Air is here for you, just like they have been for my family the last couple of years. Right now, it's $25 off an annual maintenance. Bold City will thoroughly service, clean, and test your system to ensure it is working efficiently. Then you'll be comfortable this summer, all summer. After the $25 off, it's just $70. Book your maintenance service now and save. Save now, beat the heat. Visit boldcityac.com or call 904-379-1648 to schedule. Mirza and his staff are ready to take care of you and your family. Be bold and beat the heat and make it a one-shirt day, even in the summer heat. Go to boldcityac.com.
If you don't have Safe Touch monitoring, there's a good chance your system is getting monitored from someone's home. Yes, work from home has come to the security industry, but not at Safe Touch Security. At Safe Touch, that is totally unacceptable. and doesn't meet UL requirements. At SafeTouch Security, our monitoring center is committed to maintaining our high standards. The only guaranteed response in the alarm industry with an incredible 8-second average. And our two-way communicator provides the very fastest response from the emergency authorities for burglary, medical, and fire. And the SafeTouch crash and smash technology detects crime before it enters the property. Our halo of protection and SafeTouch cameras report crime before it happens many times. And every SafeTouch security system is custom designed for you and comes with our exclusive SafeTouch parts and labor agreement at no charge. SafeTouch security systems have a guaranteed response and are installed by real professionals. Know you and your family are safe and protected the right way. Go to safetouch.com right now for more information. SafeTouch, doing what others can't for over 35 years. State license number EF0000233.
Is your business losing sales from the current pandemic? Are you trying to remain in touch with important clients? If you're struggling with questions like this, you're not alone. Many small businesses are currently in a severe crisis and need immediate assistance. As the nation's premier organization supporting small businesses, SCORE offers webinars on a variety of topics that can help you manage through this crisis. Click on the Take a Workshop tab at jacksonville.score.org and register today.
Beards Diamonds has been busy the last few weeks, preparing their showcases for the largest inventory of wedding bands in North Florida.
So if you're getting married soon or just want to update your bands, you don't want to miss Beards Diamonds' spectacular wedding band sale, going on now through Sunday.
Buy any lady's wedding band and get the men's band free.
Yes, free, and only at Beards Diamonds.
At the St. John's Town Center or at beardsdiamonds.com.
Our normal way of life has been changing quickly due to coronavirus. New rules to follow, and basically all sports have been put on hold. Heck, you might even be working from home. Hey, everybody, it's Brent Martineau. If you're not in the car from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m., check in on Action Sports Jacks on your smart speaker. Tell your Amazon Echo or Google Home to play ESPN 690.
Hey, this is Dennis Anderson, the driver of Gravedigger Monster Truck, the baddest monster truck in the land. You're listening to Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
It has been a difficult time for our country, in particular, Black people in our country. First, my condolences to the families of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and all the families who have endured police brutality. We, the National Football League, condemn racism and the systematic oppression of Black people. We, the National Football League, admit we were wrong for not listening to NFL players earlier and encourage all to speak out and peacefully protest.
That is Commissioner Roger Goodell late on Friday night, right after our show, really. Some people say Friday news drop, whatever it is. It got out there. It doesn't matter. You weren't hiding that statement from Commissioner Roger Goodell. And the strongest words on racial injustice, social injustice we've seen from the league ever, I would say.
Well, and it's kind of ironic
back in the 60s,
because Friday I talked about how Roger Goodell should come out and say something, and literally a couple hours later he did.
What was your reaction as a former player in the league, as a black man? As you know, we had these heavy discussions all week long about leadership and applauded the Jags organization and Shad Khan. We wondered if Shad Khan would say something, then he did, and it was very well done. We wondered if the NFL would say something. The initial statement was, by many respects, weak, and this one came back and certainly had more punch. What was your reaction to it?
So kind of to sum up everything, basically the whole weekend.
No, just the Goodell statement. We'll get into the whole thing and what it means with Brees and everything else a little bit later.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
just quick thoughts on it.
I'll be fair, and if you read the story behind the whole Goodell statement, it's insane because what it involved really is a rogue, a rogue employee that works for, I believe, like the NFL offices, that kind of took it upon himself to reach out to players, and once again, kind of went against the statement, the company statement saying you can't reach out to players by yourself. There's kind of a chain of command you have to go through. Well, this rogue employee said, "No, thanks, I'm going to do my own thing," and went behind the NFL's back. Kind of sent some DMs to some certain amount of players like Michael Thomas, and he got positive reaction. All of a sudden, those players started voicing their concerns. They posted their videos, and it just grew and grew and grew to the point where Roger Goodell saw this as like, yeah, I have to say something. So it's insane to me that just one person in an NFL office that nobody knows his name, has never really made a, let's be honest, a splash or a ripple really in the whole landscape of the NFL, took it upon himself to reach out to players and to kind of cause this initiative. And now look what it's become. And obviously I was shocked when Roger Goodell said something, especially because keep in mind, and I know we don't really get political on the show, but, Donald Trump kind of mentioned about Drew Brees a little bit, and he spoke his piece.
Like 2 hours before.
Exactly. And then a little later, then here comes Roger Goodell.
And really
video
had already been done. They
exactly.
just shared it later.
But then this video gets released from Roger Goodell, and it really kind of counters what Donald Trump was trying to say. So, it's a lot to digest right now, but I was shocked that Roger Goodell actually said something.
Yeah, it was. I think it was strong. It was well done. You need communication, and now we'll see if they act. What's really interesting, again, we'll talk about how it all came together a little bit later. I want to get some football stuff right now, and then we'll have some of those conversations about Drew Brees, what transpired over a 72-hour period. But this social media person, if you will, with the NFL that did go rogue, he will be a great footnote of the story someday down the road if there is significant change in the NFL, and we just saw a huge pivot, not only in our country, but again, in that sports organization. We'll have to see, okay? We'll have to see what happens. But 10 years from now, 20 years from now, there's always these unsung heroes in movements, and when there is change. And this young man could certainly be that. It's a fascinating story. So we'll get into it. We're going to talk some football right now. ESPN did this, and at least put it out there today that I saw. And it's fascinating. They picked 128 players. They called them foundational players to win a Super Bowl in a handful of years. So you scrap your team. You're a GM, and you're saying, I want these 4 players. And you go through a 4-round draft. Say, this is what I'm starting with to hopefully win a Super Bowl in 5 years. It's kind of cool, right?
Yeah, it's awesome.
No surprise, like guys near the top of the list, like a guy like Patrick Mahomes. Youth matters, but maybe isn't everything, depending on how you feel about guys like Aaron Rodgers and others. And Mike DiRocco from ESPN, he covers the Jaguars here, and he picked for the Jags. And I guess the reviews were really good, right? Mike Clay is the guy that kind of reviewed everybody's picks.
Mike Clay said he had probably the best draft of any team.
Which is interesting. I didn't know he'd get that kind of reception for it, but here's what Mike picked. Dak Prescott at QB at number 9. They were picking 9th overall in this draft.
Yep.
Daniel Hunter from Minnesota, defensive end. Juju Smith-Schuster at wide receiver in the 3rd round. And Marshawn Lattimore in round number 4. You like him?
Yeah, so, obviously the one that sticks out right away is Dak Prescott, okay? Because Dak Prescott, age-wise, he's right in that wheelhouse. He's the guy that you want to build your team. I make an argument and say that, is Dak Prescott a product of one of the best offensive lines in the NFL? Is Dak Prescott the product of having one of the best running games in the entire NFL? And is Dak Prescott really the product of having a pretty solid wide receiving core? Maybe, so to me, the Dak Prescott pick is a little, it's a little ambitious. No, I'm not saying it's wrong, because once again, he's on the younger side, but do you feel confident in saying that you can build a team around Dak Prescott? You take away that offensive line, you take away that running game, you take away those wide receivers, and just have Dak Prescott by himself. How confident are you? And I think you'd probably raise the flag a little bit and raise that question mark. A guy that could have been taken in that spot is Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers went number 12 or number 11, if I'm not mistaken. Aaron Rodgers is 36 years old right now, Brent?
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers obviously is up there in age. He's 36 years old. But I see a guy like Tom Brady. Tom Brady's 41, okay? And he just won a Super Bowl a couple years ago. So, and you know how I feel about Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers. I think overall, with quarterback play, I think, yes, Tom Brady will always be the GOAT. But you put Aaron Rodgers in any single football team, and they're immediately better. So I probably would have took the risk. And be honest, it's a risk because, once again, Aaron Rodgers is up there in age. Hopefully you have a good offensive line to help him out. But I probably would have took Aaron Rodgers over Dak Prescott.
Yeah, it's an interesting call. By the way, Patrick Mahomes goes number 1 to Cincy. Russell Wilson, they use a draft order from this year. Number 2 to Washington. Lamar Jackson, a lot of quarterbacks, of course, right? Deshaun Watson. Aaron Donald to Miami at number 5. Defensive tackle?
Yeah.
Pick number one.
Listen,
road to win a Super Bowl.
Listen,
he's been there and he's been unbelievable, by the way, and they haven't won a Super Bowl now. They got there once,
of course. And listen, you know how I feel about the defensive line, Brent. Can't get enough of it. And Aaron Donald's obviously really a once-in-a-generational type player. The guy's an absolute game wrecker. But if we're talking about building a team from the ground up, and you can have your chance at any player in the NFL, you better believe that first round is going to be a guy that has his hand on the ball, every single rep, okay? And I'm talking about the quarterback position. Nothing against Aaron Donald. The guy's an absolute stud, but let's be honest. There's only so much impact that a defensive tackle can make.
Just a couple other names of note. Chargers went with a tackle, Ronnie Stanley. Mm-hmm. But he was the only tackle, I think, in this first round taken. And not a lot of tackles were even taken overall. Brees is in here, Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa. Got some brothers in the top 10 there, Nick and Joey Bosa. Joe Burrow, rookie at Indianapolis with 13. Even Brady at 40-something years old in there for Tampa.
Well, yeah,
so they said, okay, we got that guy.
And once again, don't want to call her out, but do you know who took Brady? Jenna Lane. So, hey, just saying, when it comes to draft, fantasy draft and all this stuff, I'm staying clear from Jenna Lane. That's all I'm going to say. Because we know how the O.J. Howard pick for me went last year.
All right. So, anyway, those are some of the examples. Heavy quarterbacks, some playmakers at wide receiver as well were picked. And what's interesting to me is I thought about this, and I was like, I'm going to take this in a bunch of different directions because this is wild. And coming up in just a moment, I'm going to ask you, do the Jags have any of these kind of pieces? Right? Over 128 players across the NFL. Do they have any of those kind of guys?
Well, let's just say it like this. If you were to build a team right now in the Jacksonville Jaguars, who would you start with? Like, if you could take one guy from this team to build the team for the next 10 years or so, who are you taking?
It's a great question. I think for position of importance, I would start with Josh Allen.
Sure. But, I think that's a question to ask.
That is the question, right? Yeah. And again, how do you feel about a guy like Gardner Minshew and all these kind of conversations? For instance, Matthew Stafford's in here. Tua is in here. Those aren't like slam dunk guys that, hey, I'm going to win a Super Bowl with. Stafford's put up some great numbers, but he's hardly won in the NFL.
Correct.
Tua, we have no idea what he's going to be in the NFL. I think DJ Chark, when you're talking about receivers, I'm not saying you go in the first round. We're talking about 128 players, though. Mm-hmm. Could they get in those conversations? And, of course, Kyler Murray's in here for Dallas at number 17.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Has to be.
Yeah.
But anyway, I want to go over that exercise with the Jags in just a moment. A different part of this, which caught my attention, like, say, Mike's example. He picked quarterback, he picked defensive end, he picked wide receiver, he picked corner. Mm-hmm. Well, for the longest time in the NFL now, it was quarterback, left tackle, defensive end, and in recent years, because of the pass-happy NFL, cornerback slid into there as the top four positions that you better have a stud at, right? You want to be secure at. Yeah. So Mike went after 3 of those 4. He chose wide receiver over left tackle, and so kept the left tackle up. My question to you is it still that way? Is left tackle of premium importance? Do you have to have a Laramie Tunsil? Do you invest in a guy like that? Or is it more to have a stud wide receiver, or at least someone that you really like?
Yeah, and listen, man, and Kuz can attest to this because Kuz sits me in the press box every Sunday when we're covering the Jaguars games. D-Rock's right next to me, man, right? So we're always talking everything, and I absolutely love the dude. I would disagree with Smith-Schuster, okay, because I'm not sold yet on Smith-Schuster being a number 1 receiver, okay? His best year came when he had Antonio Brown taking away the double coverage, and Smith-Schuster was in the slot, and he kind of was the unforgotten guy. When it was his time to shine this past season, and I get it, injuries were a factor. I get it, quarterbacks were a factor because Big Ben got hurt, but we're still not sure if Smith-Schuster is that bona fide 1 receiver going forward. I understand. The guy's got the Pizza Hut commercials. He's doing the Fortnite dances. I love it. But is he going to be that guy? I'm not sure yet. So from D-Rock's pick right there, I would have switched Smith-Schuster around. And this is crazy that I'm saying this because it's funny. I'm about to probably take a lot of people off here, but I'll probably go Josh Jacobs. Okay. And I get it. Running back. They're a dime a dozen. You can get them wherever you can get them. Like, I understand that, but there is something to be said for a running back that can pound the rock number 1, but also catch the ball number 2, a la Christian McCaffrey, a la Saquon Barkley. Now, is Josh Jacobs to that level yet? Absolutely not. But I'm just saying with Josh Jacobs and his versatility, it's almost like you're adding a running back and a wide receiver because he could do so much.
Well, and by the way, in this exercise, you only need him for 5 years. You're not talking about an 8 to 10 year player at running back. So running back is an okay investment.
Yeah. So then that's where I would go as opposed to probably wide receiver and his running back.
Okay. So what's really interesting here is as I go down all the lists and just to double check and make sure, I see one Jags player so far, unless I missed one, and that is Yannick Ngakoue, picked in the second round by the Giants to help build their winner. I've seen a couple of former Jags, like Allen Robinson and Dante Fowler Jr. Dante Fowler Jr.?
Well, you said Yannick Ngakoue, right?
Jan was in the second round. Dante was in the fourth round.
Where was Josh Allen? Just curious.
I don't see him.
Interesting.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Here's another former Jag, Jalen Ramsey.
Where was he at?
He was in the second round by the Seattle Seahawks.
Of course.
No surprise there. That'd be a good fit with their defense. But, I don't see – I saw Josh Allen, the quarterback.
Are you sure it wasn't a defensive end? I'm kidding. But it might have been.
Yeah, I don't think I saw Josh Allen.
I got you.
I think it was the quarterback. So that brings us to the other side of it. The Jags basically had one player, and he might be on his way out, in Yannick Ngakoue, on this list of 128 players in the NFL. Is the roster that bad, or are people missing somebody? Missing some folks. Josh Allen. By the way, you could take Josh Allen or Yannick Ngakoue. I think both should be on this list, really, if I'm building a team at that premium position.
At Josh Allen's age.
Honest question.
Both ages, really. They're both under 25.
True.
It would be interesting, and it might be more of a deep dive on it, but what team has the most players on it, on that list? You know what I mean?
I don't know if they broke them up that way. It's a good call. I don't, I'd have to do some research on that. I don't know the answer to that.
It's going to take some man hours.
I wouldn't be surprised, though, the Kansas City's, and I would be surprised if, the Chargers had the most players. Ravens, right? Lamar Jackson already said Ronnie Stanley.
Yeah.
Those kind of guys are on there. So, I don't know. I don't know the answer to your question.
I'd probably say the Chiefs. I mean, in terms of longevity, in terms of youth right now, the Chiefs stick out to me for sure. Because you think every one of their wide receivers is a weapon, it seems like. So I'd probably say the Chiefs.
So anyway, my point being, who are they missing? Should DJ Chark be on this list in the top 128 players?
Yeah.
If you were drafting 4 rounds across the league, if you redrafted, should Gardner Minshew be on the list?
I mean,
Josh Allen's on the list.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray's on the list. I get it. This isn't me, Murray and Minshew. I'm just saying, but you have young guys on the list.
And didn't Daniel Jones go in the second round, if I remember correctly, from the Giants?
I think he did.
Yeah. So, who are they missing? Yeah.
Is Miles Jack, but it's a linebacker spot, right? You're not going to see too many linebackers on this list.
DJ Chark, in terms of youth, in terms of productivity, in terms of being a Pro Bowler last year, deserves to be on this list. Okay? I mean, heck, and maybe I'm crazy, man, but to me, DJ Chark, Smith-Schuster, I get it. Smith-Schuster, there's a lot of hype around him, but I don't think he's delivered so far, Brent. So is it out of the realm of possibility to say, well, maybe if you're Duraco here, do you take DJ Chark right now instead of Smith-Schuster? I probably wouldn't be upset with that. So, yeah, I think DJ Chark is definitely missing on this list.
All right. I really like where you were going with that exercise because that's what I wanted to ask. D-Rock picked Prescott. How much better is Prescott than having Gardner Minshew at quarterback this year?
Right now, if you had Dak Prescott, I mean...
I understand the resume's better. There's more proven. I get it. I'm just saying how
experienced. I mean, but in terms of winning,
you didn't love the Prescott pick anyway.
I didn't. But if you're asking me, is it going to be a difference between winning 2 more games or not? I don't think so. I don't think Dak Prescott can come to the Jacksonville Jaguars right now and cure everything. I just don't see that. I don't think yes, he's an adequate quarterback, and he might even be a good quarterback. But I can't just see a good quarterback coming here and changing everything. I really can't, because let's be honest. We're talking about how Gardner Minshew could take the next climb. Minshew's numbers last year were great. Okay, Minshew had some really strong numbers last year. If he improves on those numbers, we're still talking about maybe winning 6-7 games at the very most. So I don't think Dak Prescott could come in and change the whole thing.
So I'll take you to the second pick then, Daniel Hunter. If Josh Allen and Yannick Ngakoue and Kayvon Chase on this team.
Yeah.
I mean, do you? Is that a wash? I mean, is that a wash? Have Allen? I mean, is Hunter that much better? I don't watch Hunter day in, day out.
Hunter's good, man.
I know he's good.
I mean, watch the. Listen, the reason why the Vikings went into the Superdome and absolutely just dominated Drew Brees had a lot to do with Daniel Hunter. Okay, now. Would it be overkill to bring Daniel Hunter here on this team? Well, you better believe it. Now, would I absolutely, be foaming at the mouth because of that? Yeah, because could you imagine Chase on, Yannick Ngakoue, Daniel Hunter, and then Josh Allen?
But it wouldn't be that way. I guess my question is, how much of an upgrade would Hunter be rather than having an Allen or rather than Ngakoue? Okay. I'll leave Chase on out of this because he's a rookie.
Sure.
But Allen or Ngakoue, I'm trying to measure what the Jaguars have versus what they could have.
So to me, I mean, it could be a little upgrade right now with where Josh Allen's at, right? Because Josh Allen's going into his second year. There's still a lot to learn, right? He still has to perfect his pass rush moves.
But again, this is for 5 years to win a title.
So my point is it'd probably be a wash right now because Josh Allen and Hunter are really kind of the same guy. Yannick Ngakoue is a little more of the smaller guy and more of that speed rusher guy. Daniel Hunter says he weighs like 260 pounds. No. I mean, either
bigger than that,
either he's trying to get to muscle and fitness and he's trying to lie about getting on the front page or something, but no, he weighs more than that. And he's a guy that can kind of play a 3-4 outside linebacker and a 4-3 defensive end, a lot like Josh Allen, if you will. So with that being said, I would probably say it's a wash between him and Josh Allen.
Okay, and then you already said Juju Smith-Schuster, who would be picked. You wouldn't mind DJ Chark in that spot.
From what I know right now. Now, once again, the sample size of Smith-Schuster may not be fair because last year he didn't really have a quarterback throwing him the ball, and he had injuries last year, so it's really hard to tell what Smith-Schuster can bring to the table. But I think right now with DJ Chark, and Gruden saying he's going to go in the slot and everything, just like Smith-Schuster does, I'm not mad at it.
And then the last one was Lattimore.
Whoa.
And he's fantastic.
Come on.
What's interesting is the Jags had that. Mm-hmm. They had Ramsey, right? And I'm not going to go with that revisionist history stuff and say, okay, they should have kept him. But it's interesting on this list. They had Allen Robinson, receiver spot. They had Ramsey, who was picked in this 128. They have Yannick Ngakoue, although he might be on his way out. Mm-hmm. And, so all these players that they did have. I guess the gamble here is if you're looking at the next 5 years, can C.J. Henderson become that? Mm-hmm. Can he become at least close to that? I don't know if he'll be as elite as Lattimore is, but can he be that guy? And so the point in that exercise for me is, if you're building a team for the next 5 years, the wishful thinking in this exercise from ESPN was, hey, go get Lattimore. Well, Jags have C.J. Henderson. Go get Juju Smith-Schuster. Well, they have DJ Chark. Go get Daniel Hunter. Well, they have Josh Allen and, quite frankly, Yannick Ngakoue too. And Chase on now. Mm-hmm. Go get Dak Prescott. Well, they have Minshew. And obviously, I think there is the biggest separation in curiosity because Prescott's been able to do it now for a few years in the league, and we really have too small of a sample to know on Minshew.
Both 6th-round picks, though.
Prescott was 4th round.
Oh, was it? I'm sorry, my bad. 4th round. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. So it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
I mean, and so that will then go into my next question. What do the Jags have that make you say we can build around this? Mm-hmm. And go forward and try to bring a Super Bowl in the next 5 years? Because as we talked about in the first part of this show, expectations are low. And you said loser's mentality if you think 8-8 is a good season. Well, I get it. But the idea is to win a Lombardi trophy.
Correct.
And every team should have an expectation to win a Lombardi trophy within a 5-year period. Mm-hmm. Every team. I mean, then if you don't do that, if you don't think you can win within 5 years, well, then you're really screwing things up. And I would think the Jaguars, I've said by this time next year, will go into 2021 saying, hey, we should be able to make some noise. I don't know if they feel like Lombardi noise, but I think next year they want to put themselves in a position with all those draft picks with more cap space and with this young core that they have to make noise. How do you feel about what they have as a young core with the guys we just mentioned to say, all right, if you make the right decisions, you can make this a Super Bowl caliber roster in a couple of years going forward and maybe win one in the next 5.
3 guys in terms of youth that I'm intrigued by that you can, I think, build a team around probably right now in order. And once again, this is just who I'm intrigued by. Top guy, Josh Allen, number 1. Number 2, Juwan Taylor. And then, obviously, I'm going to go on the limb here, and I'm going to throw the wild card, but Gardner Minshew. Those are the 3 guys. Oh, no, I'm sorry. My bad. Not Minshew, DJ Chark.
Chark,
my bad, Chark, yeah. Yeah, and then Minshew, a wild card.
Do you feel at this stage, Chark and Allen, although they've done it just for 1 year, and I know Chark's going into his 3rd year, but are they proven enough to you? Like, are you relying on this year in, year out, 1,000-yard season for DJ, 10-sack season for Josh Allen? I'm not even saying, hey, get to 15 and get to 14 touchdown catches for Chark. I'm saying, can you rely on that? Do you feel good about that, even though it's really just been a 1-year sample?
Yeah, I mean, I feel great about Josh Allen making progress because, once again, his rookie year, made the Pro Bowl and everything, had over 10 sacks. And a lot of those sacks came from just his freak athleticism, his strength, and his speed, which should not be fair in the NFL. Like, when you get to the NFL, it should all be about technique and cleaning up everything. And granted, I mean, he did a little bit of that as well, but he just used his athleticism, his size, and his strength to get those sacks. Now, once he cleans everything up and starts developing the pass rush moves, things like that, I think he's unstoppable. So to me, from, the clean slate that I saw in Josh Allen this past season, and to the potential that he has once he cleans up his pass rush skill set, I mean, it's going to be, it could be all pro. It could be a Khalil Mack, Von Miller-esque type of player. So, so Josh Allen, for sure. Juwan Taylor, it's a little difficult, right? Because he's an offensive tackle and you don't really have any stats to go off of. I just go off of what I see, okay? I see tenacity. I see a guy that's not afraid. I see a guy who can be even like a vocal leader. Just plays with that chip on his shoulder, kind of like that prototypical right tackle. And I understand, I think sometimes the right tackle, they lose a little shine because, it's not the glorified left tackle. You're not protecting the quarterback's blind side. I don't care. I think if you have a genuine, legit right tackle, you can do a lot of things well. And I think Juwan Taylor, if he cleans up some stuff in the pass game, if he works on that footwork a little more, can be like that Pro Bowl, maybe an all-pro type player.
It's interesting, right? Because if you look at it in that respect, and again, you're talking about more drafts ahead and more free agent additions. I don't know how many you need to feel good about your roster, but I would say offensively, DJ Chark and Juwan Taylor, any GM in the league would walk in here and say, I really feel good about that. Mm-hmm. And I think they would also, you could throw in Linder, even though he's not young, you can play that position for a long time, and I think he's played it pretty well. You think, is that fair?
I think it's fair. I guess it comes down to the question of, if you're trying to build a team, how important is the center compared to the tackle?
Yeah. Good enough. Obviously, left tackle, you can't do that with. But so I just gave you a few players. On defense, you mentioned Josh Allen. Mm-hmm. I still think they have something that nobody else has in the league because they have Allen right now, they have Ngakoue, and they have Chase on. Mm-hmm. And nobody has that in the NFL. Nobody. Not a team. And that's an important position. I think one of the big keys, Henderson will be a really big key here. That top 10 pick will be very important. And I think one of the big ones is Myles Jack. I really believe they gave him $56 million or 50-something million, man. He has got to be a star. I'm waiting for him to be a star. If you look at him, and I understand it's a linebacker spot, it's not as critical a position, but you need more stars, and he'd give you a star at that level. Sure, could Joe Schobert be it? Fine. I'll get either one. Let either one. I just feel like there's more star potential with Myles.
Sure.
And we just haven't seen it yet. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, if that's the case, you take 5 or 6 guys. I think a lot of GMs would sign up for that going into next year with cap space and also draft picks.
Yeah.
If you got 5 years to win, and obviously the key is, what are you going to do at QB?
Of course. That's the biggest question.
Well, interesting exercise there. Maybe the Jags aren't as in bad shape as some might think, at least moving forward if you take the next handful of years in consideration. When we come back, the NFL commissioner, Drew Brees, Shaq, how they all came together in an odd way in the last few days. Next on ESPN 690.
Diamonds Direct celebrates the reopening of our local economy with our most amazing offer ever. 5 years, 0 interest financing with no money down on anything and everything. Yes! Now, for a limited time, Diamonds Direct is doing our part to help you get back to normal. And and celebrate your love like never before. Our prices and values are the best ever. Our showcases are fully stocked, and we're letting you buy now with nothing down, and you can spread your payments over 5 years with zero interest. Been putting off that engagement? Get her a $6,000 designer ring now and pay just $100 a month. Did you miss celebrating that anniversary? How about a $3,000 diamond eternity band for just $50 a month? Summer is the season for love, and we're doing all we can to make this summer one to remember with exceptional values, extra selection, and the most exceptional finance opportunity. 5 years, zero interest on approved credit. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Off Town Center Parkway.
There's a new, modern, patient-centered orthopedic practice in Jacksonville.
We believe that the patient pays money for a doctor and should be seen by a doctor.
Ortho Edge.
They're getting the most technologically available medicine there is.
Ortho Edge.
You're going to get a much better experience with your physician. We all see our patients.
Get the answers right away and more focused care on patients.
Find out more about us at orthoedge.com.
Ortho Edge.
We're in the DePaul building attached to St. Vincent's Medical Center, Riverside.
Everyone's loving what Diamonds Direct is doing right now. It's the best stimulus plan ever. 5 years, zero interest financing on any purchase with no money down. It's Diamonds Direct's way of helping you make your money go further as we all look forward to better days. Just pick any item in Diamonds Direct showcases. Get the amazing value price you know we're known for. Make no down payment and spread your payments over 5 years without paying a dime in interest. That means a $6,000 designer ring is yours for just $100 a month. This makes everything more affordable at a time when we need it most. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands, colored gemstones, designer fashion jewelry. Take the price, divide by 60, and that's your payment. You can even finance the sales tax. Celebrate summer, celebrate life, celebrate love with Diamonds Direct's most spectacular offer ever. 5 years, zero interest with nothing down. Now for a limited time on approved credit. Diamonds Direct.
Off Town Center Parkway.
I call them 3 shirt days. That's when the summer heat in Jacksonville just sizzles. It's relentless, and you want to be prepared for it. Bold City Heating and Air will help you do that. Nothing worse than sweating in your own home and wondering, hey, what happened to the AC? We've been there before. Your air conditioning unit needs to be ready for the heat. It might need to get serviced. The hot weather is here, and Bold City Heating and Air is here for you, just like they have been for my family the last couple of years. Right now, it's $25 off an annual maintenance. Bold City will thoroughly service, clean, and test your system to ensure it is working efficiently. Then you'll be comfortable this summer, all summer. After the $25 off, it's just $70. Book your maintenance service now and save. Save now, beat the heat. Visit boldcityac.com or call 904-379-1648 to schedule. Mirza and his staff are ready to take care of you and your family. Be bold and beat the heat and make it a one-shirt day, even in the summer heat. Go to boldcityac.com.
Now more than ever, you need the open road. Windows down, wind in your hair, pure freedom. Then go see our friends over at Arlington Toyota, because their massive construction sale was made to put you behind the wheel today. Think you can't afford a new ride? Think again. At Arlington, you choose zero down with low payments or no payments until 2021. Get to Arlington today where you can drive away in a Toyota RAV4 XLE for $285 a month with zero down or no payments until 2021. That's a pre-owned RAV4 for $285 a month with zero down or no payments till 2021. How about a Toyota Tacoma for $285 a month with zero down or no payments until 2021. We're talking about a pre-owned Tacoma for $285 a month with zero down or no payments till 2021. Plus, with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And you get Arlington's 30-day exchange policy on any vehicle you purchase. As always, your safety is Arlington's priority. Go see them today, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit Arlington Toyota/June offers for full details.
Are you now worried about how to continue providing the same level of service to your customers? Many service-oriented businesses are struggling to create new ways to maintain their customers. What happens to those that haven't been able to adapt? At SCORE, we can help by offering advice and resources through a vast library of online information and timely webinars. Since 1964, SCORE has assisted more than 11 million entrepreneurs and small business owners. Go to our website, jacksonville.score.org, to see how we can help you today.
If you don't have Safe Touch monitoring, there's a good chance your system is getting monitored from someone's home. Yes, work from home has come to the security industry, but not at Safe Touch Security. At Safe Touch, That is totally unacceptable and doesn't meet UL requirements. At Safe Touch Security, our monitoring center is committed to maintaining our high standards. The only guaranteed response in the alarm industry with an incredible 8-second average. And our two-way communicator provides the very fastest response from the emergency authorities for burglary, medical, and fire. And the Safe Touch crash and smash technology detects crime before it enters the property. Our halo of protection and Safe Touch cameras report crime before it happens many times. And every Safe Touch security system is custom designed for you and comes with our exclusive Safe Touch parts and labor agreement at no charge. Safe Touch security systems have a guaranteed response and are installed by real professionals. No, you and your family are safe and protected the right way. Go to safetouch.com right now for more information. Safe Touch, doing what others can't for over 35 years. State license number EF0000233.
For the ones we trust to always be there. For the ones caring for others. For the ones who keep things going, no matter where they are. In extraordinary times, extraordinary people step up, like the ones standing guard and standing on the front lines, and the ones who are staying apart while still working together. With your efforts, we will get through this. We're grateful for all you do. Visit Grainger.com for resources that can help as you create your recovery plan. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Derek's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
After the third time jump-starting my car, I finally realized my battery was dying. So I stopped by O'Reilly to have it checked. They tested it right there in the parking lot. It was bad, real bad. But they helped me find the right battery for my car and even installed it for free. Now my car starts like new.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Every home has things it needs, things that need to be maintained, fixed, or replaced. The Home Depot is here to help you get it done. You can easily find what you need on our app, order it online with the push of a button, and have it brought to your door with free delivery on over 1 million items. We have the essentials you need, the online know-how you may need to do it yourself, and low prices that make it all possible. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jags.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio. This is Action Sports Jags on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
NFL players are now using their platform and speaking up, but they've always felt like they've been suppressed by the Shield to a degree. Whereas Adam Silver and the NBA have always been a little bit more progressive, allowing players to, and plus, you know, the guys have their faces that are right there in front of you constantly. So, you know, if there is a platform that is conducive to continuing the conversation, it will be the NBA platform.
That's Jay Williams, former Duke basketball player, ESPN analyst, and how long did Jay Williams play in the NBA? Did he get in a bad? Didn't he get in a bad?
Well, I feel like there's been like 25 Jason Williams in the NBA, but
well,
but he's
I know a couple of Jason Williams.
But he's the guy from Duke, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So only a couple years, I believe, because he got the motorcycle. Oh yeah,
right?
Ended his career, man. God, those crotch rockets, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, you remember Big Ben?
2006.
Yeah.
I believe.
Was he pretty good?
I mean, he was like I think third pick overall in the draft.
I know that doesn't mean pretty good though.
That's a good point.
I mean,
that is fair, yeah.
Yeah, what do you think, third pick overall? But are you good, though? That's the question. I mean, go ahead and brag about it.
If they stop at, it was a third pick overall, it usually means I wasn't very good.
Sorry, second pick overall, sorry. Yeah, that's a good point. I stand corrected.
Well, I made 3 All-Star games in 4 years. You were pretty good then.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Yeah, I was the third pick of the draft. Well, that's cool, but are you good, though?
Yeah,
are you
it's
good?
not a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, that's how the NBA works.
It looks like, at least from everything it shows on his career highlights, is a lot of college, obviously. But the only NBA one I see is he was selected to the all-rookie second team.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, so he probably got it. He probably didn't do enough. And then obviously the career got cut short. Actually, I like him talking college hoops and seeing him on ESPN. The times that I have watching him talk some hoops. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Coos. We talked a little hoops earlier in the show, and we're going to do that a little bit later, too. What's a sleeper pick outside of the Clippers and the Lakers and the Bucks, say, we're going to eliminate those three teams, who else would you consider has a really good chance of winning the championship once they resume basketball later in July? But right now, we have started so many of our shows for the first 60 to 90 minutes the last week talking about racial injustice, social injustice, what's going on in our world right now. And we've really had some good discussions a week ago about a lot of different topics. And those discussions are not going to stop, but also want to advance some of them. And there were a lot of things that happened this weekend. You know, from Drew Brees' 72 hours was unbelievable from Wednesday to Thursday to Friday. And you know, if you missed it, he had a chance to really use his platform for what was going on in society. He chose to instead, when asked about a question about what if players were to kneel during the anthem, to talk about patriotism and the flag. And that spurned a lot of negative talk from teammates and around the NFL, really around the country. Mm-hmm. And he went from one of the most beloved figures in New Orleans and in the NFL to quickly, you know, shoved aside. You know, and we talked about some people canceled him out, from Ed Reed to others. Well, he apologized. Some people wondered if the apology was enough. Then he came out strongly against President Trump in a tweet. And his wife actually, I think, shared something on Instagram over the weekend as well. This is not a game we're keeping score of. Mm-hmm. But I have no other way to ask you this other than to say, has he kind of rallied, you know, amongst teammates, amongst people in the NFL, amongst fans? Mm-hmm. Is Drew Brees, has he kind of rescued his legacy a little bit in the last few days? I mean, if we're being honest, the day after what he said, we wondered if this would be a lasting part of his legacy. And you take away being one of the all-time greats in NFL history, it feels like the Drew Brees conversation has subsided. I'm not calling him a hero in all this, but he certainly has shifted the narrative, it feels like. Am I accurate in that?
Oh, you're absolutely accurate. You know, and obviously he said what he said. He reaches the outcry. He reaches, you know, just a barrage of just resentment and a barrage of really just getting cast aside and saying, you're not welcome here anymore, literally. I mean, so I was like, listen, we don't like Drew Brees. Drew Brees is getting canceled and all this kind of talk, right? And we heard it from guys like Malcolm Jenkins. We heard it from guys like Ed Reed. We heard it from his own teammates like Emmanuel Sanders and Michael Thomas. I mean, they all expressed, you know, just their anger. And you know what? Let's be honest, rightfully so, because I can see where they're coming from. Drew Brees releases the apology, and I think that apology, it's funny because it's almost like people flip sides, right? Where the side that was for Drew Brees of standing up for the flag, now it's like, well, why did you say, you know, like now you're going to flip sides and now you're going to say you should have done that. And so those people are mad at him. And then the people that, you know, like his teammates and everything were just like, man, I can't believe you would say that. Well, then he apologizes for it. He's like, oh, so now you're just going to apologize for it and it's supposed to be all over. So, like, he didn't really get a lot of love from both sides. I mean, it wasn't a good week to be a Drew Brees, okay? Let's just say it like that.
Yeah, he was caught in the middle of it.
Exactly. But then what do we always say? Actions speak louder than words, okay? So this goes down, and once again, you know, I don't like to get too political, but this is a big part of the story. Donald Trump literally comes out on Twitter and says
Friday afternoon,
and he said he's always been a big Drew Brees fan, one of the best quarterbacks to ever do it, and he didn't think that Drew Brees should have apologized, you know, on his thoughts about the flag. Well, then what happens a little bit after that? Then Drew Brees reaches out to Donald Trump, and this was the action, okay? This was the match to me that kind of got everything started. Drew Brees literally just said, listen, I was wrong. I talked to my teammates. We've found some kind of common ground. And now he literally changed his stance about how he feels about players kneeling for the national anthem and essentially went against Donald Trump. Okay. And keep in mind, he tweeted right at Donald Trump. All right. And now, so once again, say what you want to say about politics, but don't get it twisted. This is Donald Trump versus the NFL players right now. This is Donald Trump versus the locker room. That's exactly what's going on right now. So Drew Brees tweets at Donald Trump, or I'm sorry, maybe it was like an Instagram message, at Donald Trump. Trump obviously sees it, and now we're here. So this goes back to my point on Friday where this is why you cannot cancel people. This is why that you cannot just push people to the side and not educate them. Because Drew Brees went from being a leper, if you will, being outcast to now maybe being one of the strongest advocates and one of the strongest pieces in this whole battle. Because do you know why? Donald Trump praised him. Donald Trump mentioned him by name, okay? Donald Trump hasn't mentioned Lamar Jackson by name. Donald Trump hasn't mentioned LeBron James by name. He mentioned Drew Brees. And Drew Brees went against Donald Trump. So I think overall, and, you know, maybe, you know, calling this a battle is a little too aggressive, but I'm just saying right now in this battle, in this war, in this competition, Drew Brees is obviously on the side, and I think players, for the most part, are gravitating towards him now because of the power that he can bring.
Well, it's interesting. He did two things. One, when he apologized, players wrapped their arms around that, at least some. Michael Thomas, who's respected, and his teammate, and so his teammates, Demario Davis, those guys came up to his rescue, if you will. You know, they said, okay, hey, we're going to keep moving forward on this. Interestingly enough, we found out later that there's a big team meeting, and I think Peter King had it and some others now, that Shaq was a part of that. And Shaq, because, you know, teams always bring other folks in. Yeah. And I think they had said, you know, there were some other recent, Snoop Dogg was another recent contributor to the Zoom meeting, you know, and teams do this all the time. We talked about this recently on a show, in fact. But so Shaq was just kind of waiting, but he's also in that Zoom meeting while all these discussions are going on, and very private of what happened in those discussions. But it's almost like it pulled everybody together, and Shaq kind of helped it. Shaq's words, at least according to Peter King, the part I read, were, hey, they tried to break the media and social media and everybody else, and not really social media at that time, tried to break Kobe and I up. They tried to split us up. We would have won 5 more championships together if we didn't get into this stuff. It's like, don't let it happen.
Yeah.
And it's almost like the Saints have been galvanized. They were split up for about 24 hours, and we wondered how this was going to play out in the fall. Now they've been galvanized by all this. Really a wild turn of events. And that's just by the way a Saints thing in the locker room. I mean, that doesn't even go beyond what does it mean in the whole movement and what does it mean in the discussion outside football. So Drew Brees has become a very central figure in all of this. You know, I told you last week a lot. My fear is that this will turn into a political play and conversation. And I think and it's almost like these days it's impossible not to. I understand that. But I think the more it becomes a political play, the more diversion there is to the real conversation and topics that need to take place. Although some of that, I'd be naive to say, doesn't come in. Politics probably comes into it. That's why there's so much messaging about voter turnout and other things during these protests.
I mean,
so I get it.
Well, it's funny. Like we always say, sports mirrors real life. Well, politics has to mirror real life too. I mean,
Absolutely,
it all goes hand in hand here.
So we're in that stage. It's just this kind of like back and forth, and maybe even bigger than that is the NFL. You know, I understand the conversation about Drew Brees, but the NFL was not willing to do this a few years ago. And to some, it looked like, well, they're trying to protect their product.
Correct.
You know? And they threw that to the wind on Friday and said, you know what? We're not going to have that as the foremost priority here. We're going to help the cause and help change and help be a vehicle to that. And now, listen, there's a lot that needs to be done. We'll see if action takes place. But the NFL, bigger than maybe even Drew Brees, is in the movement. And they've at least vowed to be in the movement.
You know, and this was big for me because if you notice the past year and a half that we've done this show, whenever I bring up the Shield or whenever I bring up Roger Goodell, I always say, you know, well, they're supposed to have their players' best interest in mind, but that's another story for another day. Yeah. And I keep quoting that because, well, this is the story that I'm talking about. Okay, this is the story when we saw Kaepernick do his thing, when we saw other players follow along, and the Shield wasn't on board with it, okay? Because the Shield was on board with trying to generate as much money as possible, okay? Because there's always the threat where if, you know, NFL teams took the knee, people would stop watching football, okay? And obviously that's bad if you're Roger Goodell, and that's bad if you're the NFL. So I was always from the philosophy, and I guarantee 90% of the guys in those NFL locker rooms share my sentiments because I've had these conversations with a bunch of these guys where the NFL would always worry about the bottom dollar over the players' well-being and the players' thoughts, okay? What we saw here the past couple of days with Roger Goodell coming out now, and obviously this rogue NFL employee, going out of his way to make sure that Goodell posts a video, what we're seeing now is a paradigm shift. And what we're seeing now is the NFL finally starting to take the player's side over the money side. Okay, now once again, take the politics out of it. I don't care what you think right now. We'll get into that maybe a little later. But I'm just saying from the optics, from what's going on right now, you have Roger Goodell and the league offices listening to players. You have Roger Goodell and the league offices saying, you know what? If you want to protest, we're behind you 100%, and we're going to protect you. Nothing bad will come of it. This is the first time that we've really seen this, right? So it's going to show you right now that there is progress being made. And all of a sudden, for the first time in a long time, at least from my perspective, it's not all about the money. It's all about the players. And this is the first time we're seeing that, in my opinion.
Yeah, listen, and it's hard not to be about the money when you're a billion-dollar industry. Mm-hmm. And NFL proved that it was hard to avoid that and get into these conversations a few years back, and now here we are. There's another segment of this that's interesting, and I've watched a lot of reaction around the NFL statement. And again, we can all say, well, they had to do it, or, the players came out and said something. It sounds like from the way, now who knows if it was lip service or not, but I read Peter King's article, and it sounds like they were putting this in motion to say something all week because their initial statement felt kind of weak. And that was the feedback they were getting internally, not just from players, but from people that worked in the NFL offices. So we'll take them at their word for that. But now some of the reaction is, well, it doesn't mean anything unless you give Colin Kaepernick a job. Unless Colin Kaepernick gets a job. And that's probably being a little bit too, blanket statement.
Yeah.
But I've read a lot about that. I think there are some folks that believe strongly in that.
Well, some are just calling for an apology.
And because they didn't mention Kaepernick's name by name.
Yeah.
And you got to remember, Kaepernick and the NFL came to a settlement. So you wonder where that plays, that previous settlement after meeting. Remember, no money was released, so we didn't really know too many details of it. But where does that fit into all this?
Yeah.
And I guess from your point of view, do you have to hear the NFL apologize or say something to Kaepernick, to Eric Reed, to other folks that have continued to stand behind what they did over the last few years? And secondly, what does it say if Colin Kaepernick is offered a roster spot or a chance to work out or be a quarterback a few years later when he hasn't played a football game in 3 to 4 years?
Sure. All right.
Does it need to happen?
Yeah. So let's divide that up into two questions. Does Kaepernick deserve to play again, number one? And number two, should the NFL acknowledge that maybe they made a mistake, and do they owe Colin Kaepernick an apology? Let's go with the latter first of all. Okay. Listen, when you talk about Adrian Peterson going on Twitter and going on social media and saying that you're going to see NFL teams kneel, it's coming. All right, get ready because it's coming. So brace yourselves. If you're against it, maybe turn off the TV, but brace yourselves because it's coming. There's a storm coming, and I talked about it on Thursday. I said players are going to start kneeling again because when the commander-in-chief calls them out, their only response is to fight back, okay? And this is how you fight back. So when we see players take the knee, maybe that first preseason game, maybe that first regular season game, well, the first thing of what's going to come to mind, it's Kaepernick. That's Kaepernick's thing, all right? That was Colin Kaepernick. So to me, the NFL, and again, maybe it's not about the money right now. Maybe it's about the image. Maybe it's about protecting your players. Maybe it's about listening to your players. But if you truly want to listen to your players, then you have to acknowledge Kaepernick, okay? Because if Adrian Peterson's coming out, and keep in mind, Adrian Peterson, future Hall of Famer, one of, I don't want to say the faces of the NFL, but he's been there for a long time, a vested guy, if you will, a great player. If you got him coming out and saying that teams are going to start taking a knee, well, then everyone's going to write that back to Kaepernick. And if that's the case, and if you're the NFL and now you support it, well, then you have to go back to, patient zero, if you will. You have to go back to where this all started from, and that's Colin Kaepernick. So I'm not saying the NFL should come out with an apology saying, Colin, listen, we didn't listen to you, man. We're sorry for not. No, I'm not saying all that, but you have to acknowledge him. You just can't wash your hands of the history of what just happened and say, yeah, we don't remember him. No, you have to acknowledge him, and you have to say, you know what, maybe we didn't listen as much as we should have. If that's an apology, so be it. But I'm just saying you have to acknowledge the standpoint.
What about a job?
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest with you, from my point of view, and this is probably not. I'm just like, are they going to give? I don't know if Colin Kaepernick wants a token job just because of what's happened now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's like, oh yeah, now we got to give it. I would think first of all,
this is kind of like the
he want to
Rooney
earn
rule
it,
a little bit though, but it's kind of like the Rooney rule.
Yeah,
a
I
little
guess
bit.
it does feel a little bit like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, one, you have to ask yourself, do you believe he's been blackballed by the league for the last few years?
Yeah.
And many people do. I think it was Hugh Jackson that came out and said, hey, he wanted Kaepernick back in 2017, and they elected to go draft a QB instead. I think that was Deshaun Kaiser.
Yep.
So I don't know. How do you feel about it? I mean, do you feel like if Kaepernick never gets a chance to play again, one, because now people might say, hey, I've been out of the league for 4 years, dude. We don't think you're very good.
Sure.
That's fair? I mean, you haven't played in 4 years. Or that video that came out, does that suffice? Do they put him through workouts? Does that have to happen, or is it not enough if it doesn't happen?
Listen, I mean, I can sit here and tell you that right now there's a need for a dual threat quarterback. I can sit here and tell you right now that Taysom Hill is a very hot commodity, so much that the New Orleans Saints wanted a first-round pick for him to trade him away. Okay, they obviously didn't get that, but that's where he kind of ranks right now. And I can sit here and say Colin Kaepernick has taken his team to a Super Bowl. Okay, and I can sit here and tell you all those things. Now, I haven't seen the guy work out in the past couple years.
Yeah.
I don't know what he brings to the table.
I could say so is Joe Flacco.
Yeah, well,
right.
exactly.
Yeah.
And this
but Joe Flacco's got a job.
No, for sure, for sure. And listen, I mean, is he intriguing? Absolutely. If I'm an NFL coach and I don't care about the bad publicity and all I care about is winning, would I give Colin Kaepernick a chance? Probably. Why? Because he's a dual threat guy. If I'm going to run a wildcat formation with Colin Kaepernick for maybe 3 plays a game, so be it. Guess what? Tennessee Titans did it with Marcus Mariota. Worked out pretty well when Ryan Tannehill took over. I'm just saying from another wrinkle of an NFL offense, and once again, take the optics out. I'm just saying from a winning standpoint, I could definitely see it. Now, let's be more realistic, though. The guy's been out of the game for a little bit. So if you're the NFL, do you extend him an office job? Do you extend him some kind of, liaisonship where it's like, hey, this is us trying to, extend the olive branch here. Come work for us. And this is where I stand on this. And this is something that I've been preaching now for the past year and a half. I think the NFL does a great job with military appreciation. I think the NFL does a great job of breast cancer awareness. And I've been calling for this for a while now. If you're the NFL, why don't you have a racial injustice month where you have a color designated towards that, whether it's black, whether it's yellow, I don't care, pick your color. But everything that you sell with that, with that brand goes directly to inner cities. It goes directly to programs to help kids out. And I don't know, maybe it helps other things as well. But I'm just saying the Racial Injustice Month. No, I'm not saying that we should only focus on racial injustice for 1 month. Just like I'm not saying we should focus on breast cancer awareness for 1 month or Military Appreciation Month. I think that, those things are important. We should focus on them the entire year. But I'm just saying if you're the NFL right now and you're acknowledging that there's an issue and you're trying to listen to your players, well, then go above and beyond. And why not extend the olive branch to Colin Kaepernick and say, listen, we want to do Racial Injustice Month. Here's what we have planned, and we want you to spearhead that. Because now you're almost Kaepernick, make us, to take us to a new era. Let's make things around us better. And obviously, it helps spread the message. Because the NFL, listen, Colin Kaepernick's a huge platform, okay? And he's built a lot of that on his own. He has the help of Nike, obviously, but he is a huge brand. But he's not as big as the NFL. Okay? And if those two guys can come together, the NFL and Colin Kaepernick, and work together, well, that's what you want.
Is there too much divide for Kaepernick to work in that capacity for, in quotes, the NFL?
No, I mean, obviously. That's the big question right now. But I'm just saying from an optics, from just a new era of the NFL, if that could ever come to fruition, and if Colin Kaepernick and the NFL could come to an agreement and be like, you know what happened was wrong, so be it. I forgive you. Let's focus now on the bigger picture. And let's focus now on fighting racial injustice. I think if the NFL and Colin Kaepernick could work together on that, that could be the ultimate game changer.
A couple of other quick thoughts. Brent Martin, Austin Lane here, Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 here on a Monday. Thanks for hanging out with us. You said Kaepernick, if you could put up with the negative publicity. Has that shifted? Well, there's always going to be, obviously, this is can be a divisive issue, but I feel like it's more uniting than it has been. I don't know how to measure that and quantify that. But if a team does, how much is there a lot of backlash now off the heels of the last week and a half? And I'm not sure where we'll be in August.
Sure. Have you been in the Facebook comments lately?
I told you about the Facebook comments on Friday.
You did.
I understand that it exists.
Yeah.
I get it. But I'm saying, does it exist to the actual, what felt at one time 50-50?
Correct.
That's not feeling 50-50 to me these days.
No.
I don't know if that's to you.
No.
No. But I feel like it's swayed.
Sure.
In some way, shape, or form. And quite frankly, I'm not even sure how much that matters. I just think the temperature is different. The climate is different. If Kaepernick were to get in, I almost feel like he will get a workout or 2 or 3 or 5 coming off this, if he wants it.
In a sunshine and rainbows world, absolutely. But I'm a realist, man. And let's be honest right now, okay? Of all the owners in the NFL, and I'm not trying to name any names, and I'm not trying to put a label on anybody, but I would say the predominantly, white NFL owners, the rich white NFL owners, are probably Republicans and Donald Trump supporters, okay? Let's be honest here. If Colin Kaepernick was on an NFL team, how do you think that the commander-in-chief would feel about that? Probably wouldn't be the most excited. Now, I know what you're saying. Well, that's politics. Who cares? Well, I'm saying when you're an NFL owner and you have a lot invested maybe in who the president is, that can go a long way. So, I
guess my initial thought to that is, didn't the NFL kind of say, hey, we're not worried about the politics of this the other day when they issued a statement?
Oh, but I'm sorry. Did the owner say that?
Well, he speaks. He has to. He works for the owners.
Sure. But did every single owner come out and say, all right? No, exactly.
No,
yeah. So that's my only point here, where I get right now the NFL, it's all about, having the players' backs. And I would like to hope guys like Shad Khan out there, owners like Shad Khan, have their players' best interests in mind too. But I'm not naive. I know how the NFL works, and I know how owners work. And a lot of owners are concerned about the bottom dollar. And a lot of owners, I think, are going to ask themselves, if we bring in Colin Kaepernick, will that hurt our bottom dollar? Simple as that. So call it politics, call it cash, call it whatever you want. But I just don't see right now the landscape of owners saying, all right, bring Kaepernick in, let's go.
Robert Little from runs Black Sports Online tweeted this today. I found these 2 tweets interesting. Quick thought on it. Goodell decided to make his apology video not because so much he meant it, but the league got nervous that Patrick Mahomes was becoming an activist. One thing to ban Cap, but if Mahomes was to say take a knee or doing things like the player protest video, they don't want that.
Say it one more time, please.
Basically said the only reason Goodell came out with the apology video is because Patrick Mahomes was in that initial video. Remember with the players, Michael Thomas and others about him. The whole social media
that got things started.
That's the thing that got it going. Do you agree with that? Because of Patrick Mahomes being the face and him being involved in it. Now, listen, there have been a lot of folks involved, from Von Miller to name it. Dak Prescott's donated money. There have been huge names.
The entire Jaguars organization has been involved.
The entire Jags organization.
Now, we're not going to talk about it because it's the Jaguars, I guess. And you know what?
Even I got bothered by that a little bit this weekend.
No, hold up. Brent, are you being sensitive right now? Are you being a little sensitive right now?
No, I just didn't get it from a business standpoint. You'd want that Conley speech on the steps of a police.
Who you telling, man?
Out there, if I was, even if I just wanted 9 minutes. Clicks.
9 minutes, 17 seconds could have changed a lot of things. But you know what? I'm not going to call it. I'm not going to call anybody, and I'm not going to say maybe ESPN.
Fitz brought it up though. I was told Fitz brought it up on the show, and so did Levitard.
Listen, and I'm not going to, because we work for them, so I'm not going to call it the ESPN social media team and how they were more concerned with Nikolai Jokic's abs going into the NBA playoffs than they were with Chris Conley's speech. Not going to bring that up at all. Not going to bring up anything like that, but I thought it was kind of crazy. Anyways, what was the question?
So here's the tweet. Goodell decided to make his apology video not because so much he meant it, but the league got nervous that Patrick Mahomes was becoming an activist.
Good. You know what?
Do you think that's why? Is that the motivation?
Don't really care. I mean, we're here now, So,
which, by the way, I like that. I don't care how we get to some places if it's good, right?
Well,
we say that all the time.
And you know what? I hope that's true. I hope Roger Goodell saw Patrick Mahomes. I hope Roger Goodell got nervous, and I was like, "Oh, wait, Patrick Mahomes now." This dude who's soft-spoken, that sounds like Kermit the Frog, who's one of the best quarterbacks of all time, one of the best quarterbacks right now in the NFL. He's coming out right now. I didn't see that coming. I'm nervous. I like that. Good.
And then a second part of Robert's tweet here, which I found interesting, which is why I always said if the super elite players back in the day would have pushed back on the NFL when this first happened, Cap would have a job. But the best players in the league mostly sat things out. They always had the power. Where do you sit on that? Do the players take some ownership of not moving this ahead more?
I mean, there were some really outspoken guys. Now, Patrick Mahomes maybe wasn't. Aaron Rodgers maybe wasn't the most outspoken, but there was a lot of outspoken guys. But it comes down to the double standard. It comes down to the quarterback position. And I think from the quarterback position, the Tom Brady's, the Aaron Rodgers,
is it
the
fair
Patrick
to ask
Mahomes,
where Russell Wilson was back in 2017?
Sure.
I mean, are those fair questions?
Why not? Why not? Absolutely.
That's interesting. Anyway, I thought those two tweets were interesting.
It's very interesting, absolutely.
About what's going on now. And again, it sometimes it takes longer than you want it to take.
And let's be honest, we heard about it. I mean, I think players were kind of scared to speak on it regardless of who they were sometimes just because it was such a hot button issue.
No doubt.
Yeah, and owners made that abundantly clear.
Organizations, or the NFL's back.
Correct.
Now, people didn't wait for that, but now they do have their back to some degree. We'll find out how much so as we continue this discussion over the weeks and months ahead. Let's talk some sports when we come back. Where's MLB? We have golf coming back to the Jacksonville area. Sports are back in Jacksonville. Next on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly sunny and hot on Monday. Temperatures reach near 90 with some afternoon storms. An isolated shower lasting through this evening and tonight as temperatures are mild and muggy in the mid-70s. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Corey Sima.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds Buy One, Get One wedding band sale through this Sunday at Beards Diamonds. If you don't have Safe Touch monitoring, there's a good chance your system is getting monitored from someone's home. Yes, work from home has come to the security industry, but not at Safe Touch Security. At Safe Touch, that is totally unacceptable and doesn't meet UL requirements. At Safe Touch Security, our monitoring center is committed to maintaining our high standards. The only guaranteed response in the alarm industry with an incredible 8-second average. And our two-way communicator provides the very fastest response from the emergency authorities for burglary, medical, and fire. And the Safe Touch crash and smash technology detects crime before it enters the property. Our halo of protection and Safe Touch cameras report crime before it happens many times. And every Safe Touch security system is custom designed for you and comes with our exclusive Safe Touch parts and labor agreement at no charge. Safe Touch security systems have a guaranteed response and are installed by real professionals. No, you and your family are safe and protected the right way. Go to safetouch.com right now for more information. Safe Touch, doing what others can't for over 35 years. State license number EF0000233. If you don't have Safe Touch monitoring, there's a good chance your system is getting monitored from someone's home. Yes, work from home has come to the security industry, but not at Safe Touch Security. At Safe Touch, that is totally unacceptable and doesn't meet UL requirements. At Safe Touch Security, our monitoring center is committed to maintaining our high standards. The only guaranteed response in the alarm industry with an incredible 8-second average. And our two-way communicator provides the very fastest response from the emergency authorities for burglary, medical, and fire. And the Safe Touch crash and smash technology detects crime before it enters the property. Our halo of protection and Safe Touch cameras report crime before it happens many times. And every Safe Touch security system is custom designed for you and comes with our exclusive Safe Touch parts and labor agreement at no charge. Safe Touch security systems have a guaranteed response and are installed by real professionals. No, you and your family are safe and protected the right way. Go to safetouch.com right now for more information. Safe Touch, doing what others can't for over 35 years. State license number EF0000233. Now more than ever, you need the open road. Windows down, wind in your hair, pure freedom. Then go see our friends over at Arlington Toyota, because their massive construction sale was made to put you behind the wheel today. Think you can't afford a new ride? Think again. At Arlington, you choose 0 down with low payments or no payments until 2021. Get into Arlington today where you can drive away in a new Toyota Corolla for $199 a month with 0 down or no payments till 2021. That's a pre-owned Corolla for $199 down with 0 down or no payments until 2021. How about a Toyota Camry for $249 a month with 0 down or no payments till 2021? That's a pre-owned Camry for $249 a month with nothing down or no payments till 2021. Plus, with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And you get Arlington's 30-day exchange policy on any vehicle you purchase. As always, your safety is Arlington's priority. Go see them today, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit Arlington Toyota /June offers for full details.
If you're getting married, this is the hottest deal of the year, happening only at Beards Diamonds.
No other jewelry store in North Florida can match it now through this Sunday.
Buy any ladies' wedding band and get the men's band free.
It's a buy one, get one free on wedding bands, but it's happening now through Sunday only.
Beards has brought in an extra designer inventory just for this sale.
At the guaranteed lowest price.
Beards Diamonds at the St. John's Town Center.
Or at beardsdiamonds.com.
I'm Siniqua Martin Green, and when my mother was diagnosed with cancer, our world changed forever. This experience made me so passionate about spreading awareness of treatment options, including clinical trials. I'm joining Stand Up to Cancer to get information to those who have been diagnosed with cancer and their loved ones. Clinical trials introduce new hope for patients, providing access to cutting-edge new treatments. Talk to your doctor to see if a clinical trial may be the best choice for you or a loved one. To learn more, visit standuptocancer.org/clinical trials today.
Oh, it's hot in Jacksonville. Summer is here. Hotter weather means your family should be drinking more water. Stay hydrated, but make sure you do it in a healthy way. Take care of your family by having clean, purified water. That's what we have in our house. With a Kinetico system from CGC Water, you can remove up to 99% of contaminants. And right now, you can get an incredible offer, a free A200 reverse osmosis drinking water system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier softener. Call CGC at 904-552-1242. CGC will test your tap water so you can better understand what's in your water. That's important. It's free, and there is no obligation to buy anything. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. And while you're on the website, CGC wants your help to recognize frontline workers. They've been doing a great job. Nominate a worker, and they might get a free RO system. cgcwater.com, serving Northeast Florida and Southeastern Georgia. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Kinetico dealer.
Redbox has top entertainment when you need it most. If you're in the mood for a thriller, make sure you see The Invisible Man. Trapped in a violent relationship with a wealthy scientist, Cecilia, played by Elizabeth Moss, escapes and goes into hiding. When he commits suicide and leaves her a fortune, Cecilia's sanity begins to unravel as she is hunted by someone no one can see. With our current world situation changing every day, one thing remains the same: our love for movies. Make it a movie night and visit redbox.com for all the ways to watch.
This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida, big and small, but businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open for you: Rojas Pizza, Bark Boutique, Lux Designer Retail, Party on Party Rentals, Big Chief Tire, Air McCall Heating and Air Conditioning. If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we're getting through this.
Nobody wants tax problems, and lives have certainly changed in the last couple of months. So let me tell you about J. David Tax Law. They are here to help you and your business with tax debt issues during the pandemic. Tax problems can be stressful, especially right now. If you owe a tax debt, there are new programs available that can help reduce or eliminate your IRS or sales tax burden. But here's the deal. The programs expire on July 15th, so don't wait. That's coming soon. Get the help you need with tax debt, payroll taxes, bank levies, wage garnishments, tax liens, and unfiled returns. With stimulus packages being distributed, the IRS will be collecting an unprecedented amount of tax debt to fund this historic initiative. J. David Tax Law only has experienced tax attorneys that will represent you. You want to be able to walk in and talk to someone and look them right in the eye when it comes to your taxes. J. David Tax Law is someone you can trust. If you have federal or state sales tax debt, have a sit down with J. David Tax Law. Your first step is a no-cost consultation. Call J. David Tax Law 904-507-4777, 904-507-4777, or go to jdavidtaxlaw.com. I call them 3 shirt days. That's when the summer heat in Jacksonville just sizzles. It's relentless, and you want to be prepared for it. Bold City Heating and Air will help you do that. Nothing worse than sweating in your own home and wondering, hey, what happened to the AC? We've been there before. Your air conditioning unit needs to be ready for the heat. It might need to get serviced. The hot weather is here, and Bold City Heating and Air is here for you, just like they have been for my family the last couple of years. Right now, it's $25 off an annual maintenance. Bold City will thoroughly service, clean, and test your system to ensure it is working efficiently. Then you'll be comfortable this summer, all summer. After the $25 off, it's just $70. Book your maintenance service now and save. Save now, beat the heat. Visit boldcityac.com or call 904-379-1648 to schedule. Mirza and his staff are ready to take care of you and your family. Be bold and beat the heat and make it a one-shirt day, even in the summer heat. Go to boldcityac.com.
Is the summer of 2020 the year you upgrade her diamond? After all we've been through this year, can you think of a better way to make 2020 a year she will always remember in a positive way? Diamonds Direct is here to help with our best ever selection of large, rare diamonds and our most aggressive finance offer ever. 5 years, 0 interest financing with 0 down. So you can upgrade her diamond and spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest charges. And if you bought her original diamond from us, it's even better because we'll give you 110% of your original purchase price to be used toward the upgrade. So you can really go big. If your luxury travel had to be postponed this year, make the journey to Diamonds Direct and let her escape in our world of sparkle and romance. And take advantage of our special summer of 2020 financing offer. 5 years, 0 interest with nothing down on approved credit. Diamonds Direct.
Off Town Center Parkway.
First Coast No More Homeless Pets Veterinary Hospital provides premium veterinary care for less. 7 days a week, a full range of services with compassionate care. Pet owners shouldn't have to choose between paying bills or a healthy pet. Call 425-0005, 425-0005, or fcnmhp.org.
Redbox has entertainment when you need it most. Watch Margot Robbie take us inside the twisted mind of Harley Quinn. Don't miss Birds of Prey. Working apart from the Joker, Harley Quinn teams up with Black Canary, Huntress, and Detective Montoya to stop a brutal killing from Black Mask, Gotham City's most ruthless crime lord. Let Redbox bring you together, because connection is everything, now more than ever. Make it a movie night and visit redbox.com for all the ways to watch. Prices may vary by location, subject to applicable taxes. Additional terms at redbox.com.
The American Heart Association is working to help reduce the impact of COVID-19. Serious symptoms like those associated with a heart attack or stroke are still considered urgent. Call 911 at the first sign of a heart attack, stroke, or cardiac arrest to save lives. Visit heart.org for more information.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane of Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Check out our podcast on all platforms. Just search ESPN 690. I'm not going to tell you to subscribe to our podcast because I'm not that type of person. I'm not that desperate. But no, seriously, subscribe to our podcast. Thanks.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anna Jar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Something just has to change. And, I think when you look at what happened in Minnesota, it's disgraceful to everyone. And, to be able to have conversations about things. I'm definitely a person that wants to hear a plan that has actions included in it, and just, try to support each other and do the things that we can do to try to help our communities and help the conversations, because there's so much that everyone doesn't understand of what we need to do and how we need to do it. But I can tell you that we need change.
That's Kevin Harvick, won the Cup race in Atlanta yesterday. And NASCAR, like all other sports, are vowing to make an impact, to make change, listen, learn, put funds and resources into racial injustice, social injustice. And NASCAR is an interesting sport when it comes to it, of course, because Bubba Wallace is the only black driver on the big circuit. Mm-hmm. There are more African-American drivers, in NASCAR because they have diversity programs. Actually, Bubba Wallace came through the diversity program that was set in place years ago. But NASCAR also vowing to make some changes. Kevin Harvick, by the way, 51st career win for Kevin Harvick. There are some really good drivers, like from a historic standpoint, that have raced. Like Brad Keselowski's one of them. I think he's got like over 30 wins. But you just don't think of him in the same way you think of Jimmy Johnson and obviously Jeff Gordon and Dale Jr., and they don't feel like that. But there are so many guys who have been around for a long time, really piling up a bunch of wins. And, of course, you have guys like Kyle Busch as well. NASCAR hasn't really skipped a beat. I mean, they are just kind of doing their thing and racing. And, what's interesting is I have not seen from a maybe like corporate sponsor standpoint, I don't know if they've lost money. I don't know if some folks hung on, if they're able to pay their bills amidst the pandemic. I'm not sure where they are financially. They're obviously not getting ticket revenue coming into Gates. That's an important part, I would think, of NASCAR. But they are running the sports.
Well, and keep in mind, too, not only sponsorships and dealing with the whole brand in general, but sponsorships per driver. True. I mean, driver, it's all about sponsorship. It's all about who you get. So, yeah, I mean, I haven't really heard that much. I assume, and I think with those driving contracts, I'm not really sure the intricacies of it, but I assume that, they're for an extended period of time. So you just can't say, if you're sponsoring a driver, well, COVID-19 hit, we're going to pull out now. I'm not sure if that's really how it works. So, you haven't really heard anything, though, with the drivers suffering from sponsorships. You haven't heard anything from NASCAR suffering with sponsorships. And as far as the viewership's concerned, I mean, I haven't really heard anything about that either, like how the ratings are. Up. Yeah, there you go. Then.
So, I mean, it's been a good thing for NASCAR to be back. And they're racing like sometimes the Xfinity Series on Tuesday nights. They've raced on Wednesday night. And they're going to their tracks, and the schedule is on. And by the way, I also don't believe they don't have this rigorous testing for COVID-19 because they feel like there are not that many people involved, and you can keep your separation, your social distancing intact.
Yeah,
during the sport, during a race day, and I have not heard or read too much in terms of folks getting coronavirus since they've been back on track. So I guess that is a good thing. We didn't mention it on Friday, but on Friday it was reported that Alabama had 5 players test for coronavirus. Florida at the time had tested 53 players. They had 0 test positive. And so the SEC is getting back actually today, back on for voluntary workouts. Voluntary
workouts.
Is voluntary the most air
quoted
thing? You guys better
be there. Hey, dang well right now if someone doesn't show up, there's going to be hell to pay, Brent. So much hell to pay.
But they're back in campuses. Florida State's been back.
Yeah.
But now the SEC, today was the day for them to get back. And I don't think you'll hear much about the workouts and other things because they're voluntary. So they're not supposed to be these organized events.
Yeah. It's not like we're having Nick Saban out there saying, where are my guys at?
Yeah.
At least to the public.
But so we know there's testing going on in college football. We know also there have been some test positives. I think they all were asymptomatic, the Alabama players in this case. And we're going to keep getting those kind of stories. I think the good thing so far is we haven't had like this case where an athlete or someone involved in sports that has come back, whether it's UFC, NASCAR, even some of the college football stuff. Now we'll get back to golf. We'll talk about that in a moment. And somebody ends up in the hospital or is very sick because of coronavirus. We haven't seen anything like that yet, which is a good sign for sports to continue, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great sign. And obviously, to me, the biggest one is football, Brent, right? Because it has the most players. Those locker rooms are crowded. Actually, did you see someone tweet out, I guess NFL teams are going to be trying to encourage to keep everyone in that locker room 6 feet apart from each person in the lockers?
Yeah, I think, well.
Hey, go ahead and say that again for me. What was the stipulation?
6 feet away.
Oh, yeah? Okay, go on. Okay, I'm sorry. Well, I had to laugh at that.
Aren't the Jags actually positioned to be able to do this pretty well? Because they have multiple locker rooms in their facility.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's great to talk about, but let's be honest here, okay? I would probably say 80% of those players get their ankles taped. What are you going to do now if you're an athletic trainer? Are you going to stand? Are you going to have some kind of robot go in there, like in the bomb squad, and tape a player's ankle? No, man.
No, but you have to get close. With gloves on and a mask.
Yeah, no, but you're not going to be 6 feet apart, is my point.
Well,
okay,
I understand, but you're not going to be able to do that all the time.
Yeah.
I think there's an understood nature of that, but there's an understood nature of that at Publix. Yeah. And that's why they put the plexiglass up.
Yeah, I guess at the end of the day, listen, do you have a bunch of locker rooms to make it work? Sure, absolutely. And on paper,
some facilities, maybe others don't.
Yeah, maybe others don't. So, yeah, are the Jaguars set up to succeed in that? Absolutely. Now, will the Jaguars abide by all that and make sure players are 6 feet apart in the locker room at all times? I guess we'll see. Okay, I guess we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens here. But listen, man, it's football, okay? And there is contact involved. There is physicality involved. There's a brotherhood. There's a camaraderie. Guys break it down in the locker room. I have a hard time, seeing like all of a sudden, the COVID-19 brains get popping and be like, hey guys, no, we can't break it down here because remember 6 feet apart. All of a sudden, the ping pong tables aren't going to be there's just a lot of things that I just can't see happening. That's all I'm going to say.
You just can't play doubles.
Yeah, but you can't. It's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
And the ping pong, though, you're sharing.
And then the ping pong, the paddles, there's a lot of things.
Listen,
but
let me just give you a little firsthand experience.
Optics.
Okay?
I get it, Brent.
Kids are back and playing ball.
I get it.
Playing baseball and they're playing softball.
Mm-hmm.
There are rules in place to try to discourage contact. There are rules in place that provide social distancing measures. Mm-hmm. But you're kidding yourself. If you were out the ball field this weekend or last weekend or in the last, that high fives are still being given out of habit. Mm-hmm. There is contact. If you've got a single, you're standing pretty close to that first baseman who's holding your on. You're pretty close to the catcher and the umpire. We've seen do a couple of different things.
Sure.
But I also will. This is a different issue, but I mean, we have thrown COVID-19 out the window when it comes to protests all over the country. And there are a lot of other places around the country, by the way, who are still in lockdown quarantine mode.
And listen, I'm not trying to bring light to this situation at all. My only point is that I think it's unrealistic to ask football teams to abide by all these rules.
And I think what I'm trying to say, too, is I think it's really been unrealistic all along. You're going to have contact. Can you avoid it as much as possible? Can you take measures to try to protect yourself as much as possible? That is, and therefore minimize risk? Yes. Mm-hmm. But there's going to be a little bit of risk in contracting coronavirus. Mm-hmm. And I think the biggest thing when it comes to sports, without being over dramatic, is are we going to see the big case, the case where somebody, God forbid, dies, but is even seriously, like, really sick? We've heard the different cases, whether it was, I still say this, the only person I know that has had coronavirus is Tony Baselli. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yeah.
One person in 3 months. That's all I know. Now, others probably know a lot more than that. I'm fortunate in that case. I'm not here to say, is it really happening? I'm not calling this like, it never existed. I'm not saying that. Well, I'm just saying, me personally, that's all I know is one person. So
and I don't even know how it impacts and
other people.
Besides Tony Baselli, and listen, he signed my autograph when I was at the training camp, so appreciate you, Tony Baselli. I consider you a friend, dude. But besides that, I don't really know anybody either.
Yeah. So I guess my point is, when will we see? I think it's going to happen, don't you, that we see some sports figure that's been racing in a car or on the golf course or at a football practice get coronavirus and have it pretty seriously. Do you? I feel like that's going to happen. Is that coming?
That could come. I foresee it a little differently. I foresee like an absolute just like outbreak of like a football team with like 20, 30 players.
Yeah, that's probably more likely.
And then all of a sudden we're asking like, well, now what? Yeah. Like, I mean, if 30 guys get on a football team, what do you do?
Well, it's a great point, and that's kind of one of the points we had in the initial stages of this is then what do you do? Because even the NBA is saying as we come back on July 31st, say they will have a little pool of replacement players, it sounds like, just in case there are multiple players and your roster trims down, and your bench trims down. So it's a fair point, especially in a locker room, especially in a football locker room.
And let's be honest here. So Alabama, I don't think they confirmed the amount of cases, but they said because it was – Alabama didn't officially release the statement.
Yeah, but the word was 5.
But they said it was 5, okay? That's during summer training.
Voluntary.
In quotes. Well, it's Alabama voluntary? You kidding me? You better be there, that's all I'm going to say.
That's like saying you should drink some water in a day.
Yeah, but but to be fair, though, so we're talking about
water, by the way.
You better believe it, baby. So, but with that being said, though, so voluntary workouts, 5 players got it. Well, let's be realists here. It's going to happen where a locker room of 20-something guys is probably going to come down with it.
Yeah.
And then we're going to be left wondering, like, what do we do with that? So, I don't think that's a question if it's going to happen, it's going to be when it's going to happen, because that's just how this virus is acting right now.
You would think.
Yeah.
Are they somewhat protected by the summer, by the heat? There are people that feel that way. We'll see. We don't know. We'll see.
All of a sudden, the Wisconsin Badgers getting all the top recruits because of the cold. All of a sudden, can't live in the cold. I like that.
Couple things. The latest on Major League Baseball. And there was huge news in the sports world over the weekend. is it getting enough play?
Huge news. Okay.
Huge.
Okay.
I'll have it for you on ESPN 690. And Austin will be talking about it, I know. By the way, Kuz, when we were in the last commercial break, he says, hey, I just got a text from somebody that said, I'm going to the hospital.
Yeah.
And they were like, so who's going to the hospital? He's like, I don't even know.
Whatever,
I don't recognize the number.
So nonchalant about it,
And
like
about
a boss.
5 minutes later, he says,
like a sociopath.
This is my friend's buddy. He's a doctor. He said he's going to the hospital.
Why is he going to the hospital? Is he all right?
He's at work.
Oh, okay.
This is what we deal with in commercial breaks. We'll be back on ESPN 690. Wish us luck over the next 4 minutes.
Yeah, someone else going to the hospital.
Golick and Wingo.
That's your first mistake is leaving read receipts on. Don't do that to yourself. Friends out there, reach out to the screen and receive this blessing right now. Turn your read receipts off and vice versa. You don't need that mental warfare in your life.
Where are read receipts?
I'm going to do the Men in Black thing right now. We're just going to completely erase what just happened there from your thought process. Read receipts aren't a real thing to you.
Okay.
And that goes for everyone listening. Cool. Remove it from your life.
Golick and Wingo. Weekdays at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
Oh, it's hot in Jacksonville. Summer is here. Hotter weather means your family should be drinking more water. Stay hydrated, but make sure you do it in a healthy way. Take care of your family by having clean, purified water. That's what we have in our house. With a Kinetico system from CGC Water, you can remove up to 99% of contaminants. And right now, you can get an incredible offer, a free A200 reverse osmosis drinking water system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier Softener. Call CGC at 904-552-1242. CGC will test your tap water so you can better understand what's in your water. That's important. It's free, and there is no obligation to buy anything. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. And while you're on the website, CGC wants your help to recognize frontline workers. They've been doing a great job. Nominate a worker, and they might get a free RO system. cgcwater.com, serving Northeast Florida and Southeastern Georgia. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Kinetico dealer.
Now more than ever, you need the open road. Windows down, wind in your hair, pure freedom. Then go see our friends over at Arlington Toyota, because their massive construction sale was made to put you behind the wheel today. Think you can't afford a new ride? Think again. At Arlington, you choose 0 down with low payments or no payments until 2021. Get to Arlington today where you can drive away in a Toyota RAV4 XLE for $285 a month with 0 down or no payments until 2021. That's a pre-owned RAV4 for $285 a month with 0 down or no payments till 2021. How about a Toyota Tacoma for $285 a month with 0 down or no payments until 2021? We're talking about a pre-owned Tacoma for $285 a month with 0 down or no payments till 2021. Plus, with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And you get Arlington's 30-day exchange policy on any vehicle you purchase. As always, your safety is Arlington's priority. Go see them today, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit Arlington Toyota /June offers for full details.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
Been dreaming of subway tile and butcher block counters? Outdoor kitchens and pavers?
Oh, honey.
The weather's great and it's time to knock out those nagging home projects with a Honeydew HELOC from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Borrow up to 90% loan to value and pay no closing costs. Best of all, we'll give you a free wheelbarrow. That's right, a free wheelbarrow. Apply today at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA. Just please, no more shiplap.
Do you know a child who is deaf, hard of hearing, blind, or visually impaired? The Florida School for the Deaf and Blind in St. Augustine offers a tuition-free educational program to prepare the child for a lifetime of success. FSDB offers free comprehensive education, transportation, and boarding services at no cost to all eligible deaf or blind students, elementary through high school, no matter where the student lives in Florida. Call 800-344-3737 or log on to www.fsdbk12.org to learn more.
If you don't have Safe Touch monitoring, there's a good chance your system is getting monitored from someone's home. Yes, work from home has come to the security industry, but not at Safe Touch Security. At Safe Touch, that is totally unacceptable. and doesn't meet UL requirements. At SafeTouch Security, our monitoring center is committed to maintaining our high standards. The only guaranteed response in the alarm industry with an incredible 8-second average. And our two-way communicator provides the very fastest response from the emergency authorities for burglary, medical, and fire. And the SafeTouch crash and smash technology detects crime before it enters the property. Our halo of protection and SafeTouch cameras report crime before it happens many times. And every SafeTouch security system is custom designed for you and comes with our exclusive SafeTouch parts and labor agreement at no charge. SafeTouch security systems have a guaranteed response and are installed by real professionals. Know you and your family are safe and protected the right way. Go to safetouch.com right now for more information. SafeTouch, doing what others can't for over 35 years. State license number EF0000233.
Nobody wants tax problems, and lives have certainly changed in the last couple of months. So let me tell you about J. David Tax Law. They are here to help you and your business with tax debt issues during the pandemic. Tax problems can be stressful, especially right now. If you owe a tax debt, there are new programs available that can help reduce or eliminate your IRS or sales tax burden. But here's the deal. The programs expire on July 15th, so don't wait. That's coming soon. Get the help you need with tax debt, payroll taxes, bank levies, wage garnishments, tax liens, and unfiled returns. With stimulus packages being distributed, the IRS will be collecting an unprecedented amount of tax debt to fund this historic initiative. J. David Tax Law only has experienced tax attorneys that will represent you. You want to be able to walk in and talk to someone and look them right in the eye when it comes to your taxes. J. David Tax Law is someone you can trust. If you have federal or state sales tax debt, have a sit down with J. David Tax Law. Your first step is a no-cost consultation. Call J. David Tax Law 904-507-4777, 904-507-4777, or go to jdavidtaxlaw.com.
Here at AutoZone, we're all about helping you get what you need to keep life moving. Like for that next oil change. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic Motor Oil, an STP Extended Life Oil Filter, and a Monster Energy drink, all for just $33.99. And if you need something fast, you can get it fast your way. Whether it's next day delivery or free same-day pickup, in-store or curbside, the choice is yours. Get in the zone. AutoZone. Restrictions and details at AutoZone.com.
It's time for some straight talk. Even though most live sports are on hold now, big wireless companies haven't stopped playing games. They're always trying to lock you into overpriced contracts. With Straight Talk Wireless, there are no contracts. It runs on America's best network, same as the big carriers, but you save up to 50%. $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G. You might miss sports, but don't play games, you'll lose. Straight Talk Wireless. No contracts, no compromise.
Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jags.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jags on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Listen, if you don't think that what I'm doing right now is probably the hardest thing that I've ever done, and if you don't think that 3 times a day I throw my hands up and I'm ready to say, you know what, this, believe me. And the amount of people that I have gunning at me right now is insane. It's insane. But here we are. This is our, 5th fight? We pulled off our 5th fight. No other sports are going right now but us.
Well, that's not totally true. Dana White.
Hey, easy, Brent.
He's friend of the show.
Said what he said. Yeah. I mean, do you want to come back on here and rip the media again?
Sure.
Why not?
What's his problem? What was he asked here? Like,
dude, he went off, man.
Is he getting hammered for hosting another event or not strict enough testing? What's the deal?
No, so, I mean, there's a lot of things. It's kind of a snowball effect, but mostly the dialogue now is the fighter pay. Okay, because
of John Jones.
John Jones, Conor McGregor now, and Jorge Masvidal. Conor McGregor said he's retired now. Hey.
Like I just said, there was big news over the weekend.
Yeah. Oh, is that what we're going to talk about? Jaguars 6 feet apart in the locker room and Conor McGregor retiring? But anyway, and John Jones and Jorge Masvidal as well. So he's been obviously getting, just marinated in that type of question, and he can't stand it because his argument is like, listen, we're going through a pandemic right now. We're trying to do our best. I can't control how much John Jones makes. He signed the contract. I can't control how much Jorge Masvidal makes. He signs the contract. So he's been very outspoken to the media for trying to push the narrative right now that UFC fighters don't make that much money.
So that brings me to the big news of the weekend.
Conor McGregor.
Seriously, he's one of the big stars in the world is Conor McGregor, and he retires like quietly.
He's not retiring.
Is this the second time he threatened to retire?
Number 3.
Third time.
Yeah, go for the turkey, if you will. The retirement turkey.
So is it all about the money? I mean, doesn't he get paid a ton? Isn't he the one that benefits?
Conor McGregor's the outlier, okay? Conor McGregor is the 1%, and he does very well for himself in terms of how much money he generates with the UFC or in a boxing match. He's fine with that. What he said is that he's kind of bored. Like the landscape of MMA right now, like the fights that are out there for him, he just doesn't feel too confident to make. Now, once again, it begs the question, is this the boy who cried wolf, or is he being serious right now? Listen, when he announced, and obviously I watched, the UFC 250 on Saturday night. I was following all the tweets and everything like that. There's a reason why I didn't even give myself the time of day to comment on Conor McGregor retiring, because he's not retiring. All right, that's not going to happen. Okay, because Conor McGregor is this larger than life guy. All right, he's almost like the Ric Flair of MMA, if you will. No, don't get me wrong. He has the skill set to back it up. And that's always going to be there. But he's this loud, outspoken, this stylish, this brash type of dude. And for the guy to post a picture of his mom and said, hey, go ahead and buy any house that you want, I'm going to retire, not buying it. Not buying it whatsoever. Not buying it. You shouldn't be selling it.
It's a funny thing in fighting. MMA is a little bit like this. Boxing, I felt like used to always be like this. Mm-hmm. And maybe it does transcend to other sports, and we just don't see it a lot because people know their window is so small that they just play, yep. Get paid,
sure.
and they don't do this stuff. But it's almost like, in a sense, wrestling where it's scripted to be, and that's what these feel like. It's like Conor McGregor saying I'm retired for however many times, and now when he comes back, and maybe they're setting up to fight Mayweather because Mayweather tweeted his thing again, about kicking his butt and then boxing, and he said that you can fight Tyson. It just feels so, and that's fine. It's part of the game. It's promotion and all that stuff. But it just doesn't seem to happen in other sports. Like, I feel like maybe we should just say we're going to retire for the next couple of months and then come back in September. Like, are we big enough to do that?
That or mean you stage a fight like we saw in Atlanta. I'm sorry, we saw in Miami, and then we come back, and try to sell the
show.
So,
on the video, like, you knock me out, right? And we got video, and say, I'm done with this, right?
I'm out of here.
And for the next 2 months, since there's really not much going on, we just go away. And then when football comes back in the fall, we jump back in and hopefully it's a big local story.
No, so here's the thing. Here's what's going to happen, Brent. So we're going to get in a fight, and it's probably going to be about Kyler Murray taking on Big Ben. I don't know, something like that, all right? We get in a fight. It gets physical. Not going to lie.
You probably
got to take one for the team, okay? This is scripted, all right? But I'm telling you right now, if your head goes through the monitor here, goes through the window, it's for the greater good.
It is true.
So keep in mind for the greater good.
I mean, look at the hair. I mean, exactly. I've already taken one for the team. Haven't got a haircut in 3.5 months.
So you go out, all right, and you're out now. You're like, I quit. I'm over it. I'm in the hospital. We don't know what happened to Brent Martineau, and it's my show now, okay? I'm playing the heel. Here's what's going to happen. Since you're off the show, guess what? Golf, see you later. NASCAR, see ya. And it's going to be nothing but anime, music, and the occasional MMA with some NFL, okay? Now, let's be honest. The ratings are going to tank. Everyone's going to be like, Austin Lane's ruining the show. Austin Lane is killing the show. He's the biggest disgrace in Jacksonville media of all time. Where's Brent Martineau? Brent just left the show. He got hurt. He's not coming back. 3 weeks later, Brent. 3 weeks later on a Friday. Get ready for the weekend, okay? Slow news day. 3 weeks later, you come back to the studio with a chair, all right? And I don't see you coming, and you take me out. And you said, I'm reclaiming ESPN 690. We're talking all the golf that you guys can handle. We got football. We got NASCAR. We'll throw some soccer in there if you want it, and let's go. And that's how we get the views.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
Good script, especially the chair part. And I don't know why Tony Khan doesn't hire you.
Right? I mean, it sells itself. It sells itself,
I'm going to find out how big a star I am in this town.
Can you imagine the hashtags? Bring back Brent or something while he's in the hospital all cooped up.
I definitely want somehow for you to put like Brent through the table here.
Oh, for sure, man.
Yeah.
We can make it work. But I guess the question is, well, how does Kuz come into this? Because Kuz has got to either come out the good guy or the bad guy. That's the whole point of this whole thing. Are you neutral?
Am I the one that like sets it up to confuse you guys, and then that's what creates the tension?
Kuz is the hero that's been in communication with Brent Martineau the whole time, trying to get him back on the show and going behind my back. He acts like he's my friend, and all of a sudden, whoop, turn, and here comes Brent Martineau, and you guys both gang up on me, and I'll take one for the team.
So what is the end game for McGregor then?
Yeah.
What is he playing this up for? What is it for the good of the John Joneses and everybody else, and for the sport to say, hey, give them more money. They deserve more money. I know I'm making my check. Is he taking one for the team a little bit?
This is the crazy thing, right? Because if we saw this in the NBA or we saw this in the NFL, well, that's what the union's for. Okay? UFC doesn't have a union.
They don't have it.
Because they're all private contractors. So essentially, it's each guy doing his own thing. But what you essentially have now, Brent, is you have 3 of the biggest names in the UFC that are saying, I don't want to fight anymore. Whether it's Conor McGregor, John Jones, or Jorge Masvidal. And the interesting thing with the Jorge Masvidal situation, we saw it in Miami, okay? We saw Jorge Masvidal go after Kamaru Usman. Now, it doesn't really matter to me because I follow the sport, obviously, with a microscope. But to you, you're the casual MMA fan here, right? I kind of told you who Jorge Masvidal was a little bit. You know who he is. But when you saw that altercation, I'm not talking about the behind the scenes. I'm just saying that altercation in general. Did that do anything for you whatsoever?
Not really.
Yeah, exactly. And that's my point. The whole reason for that altercation in Miami was to try to build up the hype. Like, all right, these 2 guys want to kill each other. They got in a fight at Radio Row, and guess what? People weren't buying into it. So we always talk about the Conor McGregors. We talk about the entertainment era, if you will. Like putting on, these kind of scripts a little bit to try to boost up the ratings and try to boost up the hype a little bit. Those days are fading away now. For whatever reason, people aren't buying into it anymore, okay? And it's a problem for the UFC because now Jorge Masvidal is realizing, listen, I'm a big name, but Kamaru Usman, he's a big name too. He's the champ, but nobody knows who he is because he's a very just quiet and reserved kind of guy, okay? We talk about John Jones. John Jones should have been the biggest star ever in mixed martial arts. Hands down. Probably the greatest fighter of all time from his skill set. But the problem is that he sabotaged himself. He kept on getting arrested, and sponsorships dropped him. So now John Jones is to the point where he can't sell a fight. Sure, he has the skill set, and he has the tools to knock people out or to put on these great performances, but I'm saying that the mic skills, the hype to a fight, he doesn't have it.
Yeah, and the rap sheet says, from a casual fan, I don't want to watch this guy.
Exactly.
Right?
So it is a problem right now. And listen, I mean, I wish I knew how to solve it because I would have the UFC hire me and I'd fix it for them. But I don't know how you're going to solve the situation. I guess it's going to come down to the fighters need to make more money, and we'll see what happens.
And I get that part. I mean, I think there is a bit of that. I mean, heck, we've even talked about that in the wrestling world, right?
Sure.
WWE, Vince McMahon, and I think that's why Tony and AEW have done a really good job and have the chance or a window of opportunity because of how they treat wrestlers versus maybe WWE. Well, it's really no different in that regard, especially when you're talking about individual contractors and not a union. But there's one thing that always interests me in sports, and I understand you always strive for greatness, and you always strive to be bigger, better than you are, and that next step. And it's always impressed me with guys like Tom Brady who still want to go after it, even though they've already reached that pinnacle so many times, But I say this with, we measure everything against the NFL. Like, the baseball's not what it used to be. NASCAR, not what it used to be. Whatever it is. And we say those things and we're like, well, they must be a failure then. Like, I don't really think so. I think NASCAR, they need to find their way. But when they're running and things are pretty good and they get this next level of this next batch of stars, if you will, they'll be fine. They still make money. They're a good business. It's a good sport. It's got its fan base that's very hardcore, and it's a good amount of fans. Now, is it the way it used to be at its peak? Probably not. Is it ever going to catch the NFL? No. But sometimes that's okay. And I think that's what you're getting into here a little bit with the UFC and MMA. It's like you have to find out where your peak is, but it's okay to have a good product and you know who you are, and you're never going to catch the NBA, Major League Baseball, and NFL. Now, I could be wrong. You don't know if you don't try, so I don't mind the effort. But it's like that business that could actually, you're like, why don't they have more of these? You know, well, maybe they don't want to. Maybe they are pretty satisfied making what they make, doing what they do with 3 locations instead of trying to expand to 60 locations. They know who they are. They know what they want. And I think you can still be highly successful at that in business and in sports as an organization, knowing that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you completely. And I guess, you know, to sum it all up, I mean, do I think Conor McGregor's done? Absolutely not. Because granted, Conor McGregor, when his last fight, he beat Cowboy Cerrone, and it's always good to go out on top. But to me, I think, you know, there's a lot of fights there that don't make sense. Obviously, Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor 3. I mean, could happen because right now it's 1-on-1, and that would be a great fight. And let's be honest here. Conor McGregor doesn't need the money, okay? Right now we're just talking about Conor McGregor and his legacy. We're talking about Conor McGregor of being one of the greatest mixed martial artists of all time. And I think that, you know, through all the facade and through all the, the pomp and circumstance and all the swagger and all everything like that, he still cares about how his name's going to be remembered 10 years from now. And are we talking about Conor McGregor the fighter or Conor McGregor the entertainer? And I think he still cares about being Conor McGregor the fighter. So with that being said, I'm not going to be surprised if he fights Nate Diaz again, if he tries to fight Khabib again, but I don't think Conor McGregor's done, not even by a long shot.
All right, sports does come back to Jacksonville this week, and it's in the form of golf. PGA Tour will be in Texas at the Colonial. Meanwhile, golf here is the Korn Ferry Tour, which is the minor league system of the PGA Tour, if you will. And there are some decent names and some local guys. It's going to take place at the stadium, at TPC Sawgrass, not at the stadium course, where the Players' Championship kind of helped put this whole coronavirus and pandemic on hold when it comes to sports. It'll be at Dyes Valley. Taking place Thursday through Sunday. So sports is back. And then next week, by the way, it'll be at World Golf Village. So a back-to-backer. We may have 1 or 2 of the golfers on this week.
Nice.
But sports is back. I mean, does it feel that way here close to home? Is there a sense of reality or normalcy a little bit in your life, in our lives? I don't know. I'm different because I have the kids playing ball right now, and so it feels like that's what we would be doing.
Sure.
Friday, I went and covered the protest. That was unique. That was the first time I went and covered something. Like, I didn't go to the UFC fights. Marcel went. That was the first time I went and covered an event, like outside my house and outside this radio station. Since March, since the Players' Championship.
Did you remember how to do it?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Just like riding a bike.
But now this week we'll cover this golf event, and sports are back. Are we in Jacksonville? I understand different parts of the country have responded and reacted differently, but do we feel like there's even a pandemic going on anymore now that sports feels like it's coming back?
Sports are back, Brent, but I still need those team sports. I still need a baseball, an NHL, or an NBA, right? Because, listen, it's great that golf and NASCAR and even MMA are back, right? But those are individual sports, let's just say. I get there's teams around everyone, but they're individual sports. So it's hard to be like, you have your favorite golfers, you have your favorite fighters, things like that. But to me, what makes sports so great, it's the teams that you grew up with. It's the teams where you're from, right? Like, for me, the Milwaukee Brewers, the Milwaukee Bucks. Like, I need to feel like I can talk smack to a Cubs fan or to a Cardinals fan. And right now, I don't have that. Sure, I can be a Tiger Woods fan. Who am I talk smack to? Maybe a Phil Mickelson fan? Yeah, it doesn't have the same cachet, if you will. So sports are starting to come back, but I need that. I need that brother. I need that camaraderie. I need to have a team to cheer for. I need to have a city to cheer for. And right now, I don't have that.
Yeah, interestingly enough, by the way, sports are not back at the baseball grounds. And 121 Financial Park, Bragan Field, it's got a lot of names over there for the Jacksonville Jumbo.
Yeah.
I am not sure. I don't think, nobody will say this just yet, I don't think they're having minor league baseball. I mean, we're having a hard enough time getting Major League Baseball. Minor League Baseball, keep in mind, we're at June 8th?
June 8th.
So even if Minor League Baseball, let's just say, which is impossible, it's going to happen, came back next week.
Okay.
You'd only have 6 weeks left in that season. They finish up by Labor Day. Yeah. Well, guess what? We're not having minor league baseball back next week. I'm going to be stunned if there's a minor league baseball season, given what's happened. So many guys not getting checks and just the timetable of this. We don't even know if Major League Baseball is happening. So I would think that's not happening. But as creative as they are, Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp, they are having a Thirsty Thursday anyway, without baseball, on Thursday night, 4 to 7 at the Tiki Terrace.
Quick over it.
You know, I was just thinking about Coos. I don't know if we're allowed right now. We're kind of not doing any remotes or anything. This would be a good remote.
It's be a fantastic remote.
I'll have to check into that. But admission is just $2. Get a free koozie, and well, you can have some food and beverage.
I like that.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, a couple basic beverages. Nothing wrong with that.
So anyway, that's what's going on there. Major League Baseball, meanwhile, the reports are 76-game season. You know, I don't know if you ever did this because you never really. How much back and forth did you have in your contracts, or was it kind of
contract? you know, with the NFL contract you're talking about?
Well, but when you went to Kansas City or Chicago, was there any kind of back and forth?
Hey, no, it's like, hey, can I come play for you guys? Thanks. Thanks. Here, I'll sign anything. Just get me a jersey and a helmet and let's go. No, there's a little back and forth, obviously, when I was a rookie, because, and you know this, Brent, the landscape when you're a rookie, you have to wait for things to kind of fall in place a little bit. Yeah, it's pretty slotted. Right? So, so you kind of had to wait a little bit to see where it falls. But then once it kind of fell, you know, in the pay scales, it wasn't too hard. So nothing too crazy.
Here's my point. If you've ever done a contract, a negotiation, this and Major League Baseball contract right now with what they're trying to do with the players, it's like when you're in a contract negotiation and they take like say money and something else, and they're like, well, we don't want to give you this, we want to give you this. So you go back and forth. Well, then eventually they come back and they say, okay, we'll give you this and we'll give you this. But it's the exact same thing. It just looks a little different on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
That's kind of what Major League Baseball's doing. They're just like, yeah, we'll prorate this, and we'll go to a 114-game season or a 48-game season or a 76-game season. But it's really all the same. We're really not going to pay you as much as you want to be paid.
Yeah.
That's the way it feels like. I do think a lot of people don't think there's going to be a baseball season. I do, and I think the latest thing I saw from Passan, at least, last night I think Buster Olney was like, I bet my farm that we don't play. I think I saw from Jeff Passan from ESPN.
It's more impressive than your house, by the way.
Put a farm?
Depending on how many acres he has.
True.
Yeah.
And I heard at least that tweet said he did have a farm. He really does have one. But Passan's tweet said he talked to a source inside Major League Baseball and said, we will have baseball. At the worst case scenario, we'll mandate a 48-game season.
Yeah.
And then it'll be interesting because grievances from the union. And I think if they have a 48-game season, I think you will see a bunch of guys sit out the year, I think. So there's a lot that still has to get done, and it's not getting done. And I told you this last week. We've come in 3 straight weeks, and I'm not even going to say it this week. It's a big week for baseball. It's a big week for baseball. It's a big week for baseball. Well, here we are a month later now.
Bite. Yeah,
we're about a month later, and nothing's doing. So
listen, I mean, listen, man, and I don't want to get like all nostalgic here and trying to romance the game of baseball, if you will, but like when the phrase "the love of the game," okay. Not only is it a mediocre Kevin Costner movie about when he pitched on the Detroit Tigers, but to me, I think about baseball. Like, I think about, you know, one of your very first things that you do as a kid is you play catch in the backyard, you know, with a parent or a friend. I mean, like, you always hear about just the passion of baseball and just the pureness of the sport and the apple pie and the Americana and all this type of stuff. And right now, baseball has a chance to do something special, I think. You know, like in a world that's obviously, you know, on tilt right now, in a landscape with this COVID-19 where a lot of things have been shut down, like this is baseball's opportunity to stand by and say, you know what, it's always about the game. Now, I understand, and I'm not naive. There's always going to be money involved, and there's going to be contracts, and there's going to be who gets what part of the pie. I get that. But, man, if you guys can't come together and figure something out for the love of the sport, then why should I care about it in the future? Yeah. Like baseball is hurting as it is already, all right? NFL is king. NBA is doing good. NHL, don't want to get into it and get frustrated. But, like, Major League Baseball, I think it's suffering right now. And they act like they don't even care. So if they don't care, then why should I care? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm still going to care about it because I love my Milwaukee Brewers and I always will. But, like, why should I be so invested? Why should I spend the money on the, you know, the Major League Baseball extra innings on my Sataway? Why should I buy XM radio here every single Brewer game? Why should I even care anymore? Because they don't care. And I think it's messed up.
How about this? So there's some new information. I'm talking the last 3 minutes here. Okay,
I like it. Breaking news.
Here it is on Jeff Passan. on his Twitter. ESPN has obtained a copy of MLB's proposal today to the players. Here are the pertinent details. There's going to be a lot of numbers. 76-game season. This total compensation pool, which would be 75% of the full prorated salary over 76 games. Up to 8 playoff teams per league at MLB's discretion. So I guess almost like the NBA did, where they could kind of decide if some teams are worthy of being in or not. I mean, that's why it kind of
I
feels
like that because the NL Central is very competitive this year. I like that a lot.
Passan goes on to say no qualifying offer for 2020. Teams that lose free agents receive draft picks for players who sign multi-year deals at $35 million plus or one-year deals at $17.8 million plus. Teams that sign those free agents do not lose draft picks. Spring Training 2.0 lasts 21 plus days. Season starts July 10th and September 27th. If the season is going to start July 10th and 21 plus days of spring training, they better sign this thing like tomorrow.
That's what I'm saying, man.
I mean, they basically got a week to figure that out along those parameters.
Yeah, it's a lot of language there.
There's a lot more going on here, okay? $1.4 billion is at stake. 50% of prorated salaries over 76 games, payment to players if postseason happens. And what's happened is they've really upped the amount of prorated money based on the playoffs. So it's like if you get in, there's a bigger pool of money to get.
Okay.
Bonus pool for postseason teams to split up. Forgiveness on $170 million in advance. There's some of this lingo I don't just even understand. It's a lot of numbers. But that is Jeff Passan has it all out. And then Bob Nightingale, who covers Major League Baseball for USA Today, says, in the MLB proposal, any player can opt out of the season if he chooses. The ones who opt out because they are high risk will receive their pay and service time. Really?
That's kind of defeating the purpose, right? You can opt out anytime?
Like, why would you want to play that?
That's what I'm saying.
Like, so you can get your pay and your service and opt out, according to Bob Nightingale.
But I mean, once again, if I'm on a competitive team, then I'm playing. But if I'm on like the Baltimore Orioles, give me my paycheck, I'm going to Vegas. See you guys later.
But let me say this: is this part of it from Major League Baseball? Just this part of it where you can opt out? Are they basically saying, hey, you can opt not to play at your own risk, but get ready for the backlash?
Good luck with that. Yeah, good luck with that.
Good luck with that, because fans are going to be like, what do you mean, Mike Trout? You're not playing?
Yeah.
What do you mean you're not playing? Like, I get it. It's not worth for you to play, but I want to see you play.
Listen, but here's the problem with that, though, Brent. So essentially what you're saying is...
And by the way, Mike Trout hasn't said anything on it. I've just used
don't put that on Mike Trout. Come on. He's like the golden boy of Major League Baseball. I see what you're saying here. And they're essentially putting... The MLB is pushing the players all in. And they're saying, you're going to call us or not. The problem with that, though, is when you have kind of that, mentality where it's like if one player does it, well, then do players follow suit, and all of a sudden your house of cards comes crumbling down. So I get what the MLB is trying to do and say, all right, then go ahead and see what happens. But if more than one big name player does it, well, then you're gonna have a mess on your hands. So to me, I wouldn't even give them the option.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens when it comes to Major League Baseball. That is new in the last 5 minutes. Some of those thoughts from some of the guys that cover Major League Baseball on a regular basis. And it gets really deep into the weeds when it comes to the numbers. But the other thing from Nightingale earlier today is MLB Players Association considered the latest offer that included the 76-game season a step backwards. So it does feel like they're dancing in circles here.
Yeah.
But they're also at least throwing things out there which make me believe they're faking it and trying.
Yeah. Well, listen,
it's better than nothing.
Whether they're faking and trying or doing something about it, thanks for trying. Thanks for taking the game of baseball a little seriously. Thanks for making me believe that you guys actually give a darn, because Lord knows I do. So I don't know. We'll see what comes of it, but good job and effort, guys.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with Major League Baseball. That's the latest in the last 5 minutes. When we come back, we know the NBA's come back. They've already agreed to that. Give me a sleeper team. Kuz, we don't need you to wake up and be around for this segment.
I thought you were eating Fun Dip over there, too. What you? Oh, those Ruffles?
Driving Dish Podcast.
Hey, that ain't part of the diet, though. On a Monday, too.
Yeah, we ran out of protein today, so I went with chips.
We're chasing out some Ruffles. He's eating Ruffles. I'm snitching all day. Cheating on his diet. Brent, you have no space to talk. Eating those gummy bears and stuff you have in here sometimes, and those chips and salsa. What do you got over here today?
Peanuts.
Planters peanuts?
I had a shake and peanuts.
Have we established, are peanuts actually good for you or not?
No, I don't know if they're good for you.
Yeah.
I think they're like a safe, like cheat.
So they're kind of like neutral.
How
They're
salted are they, I guess,
They're like
is also...
Switzerland, basically.
You know that I think I told you guys this once on the show before. My dad gave me this update like a couple months ago.
Yeah.
You know, honey roasted peanuts.
Oh yeah,
are better for you than actual peanut.
I know, it's crazy.
Peanuts. That doesn't make sense.
That's a conspiracy there.
That does not make sense.
Careful who you say that to, because it could rub some people the wrong way.
Go read the back of the label. It says so.
I don't want planners people after
Sleeper
us.
teams when we come back on ESPN 690.
Peanuts coming for you.
Don't he die?
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Warm and muggy tonight, scattered evening showers and storms as temperatures drop to between 70 and 75. Partly sunny, hot and humid Tuesday, scattered afternoon storms and highs near 90 degrees. With the First Alert forecast, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Buy one, get one wedding band sale through this Sunday at Beard's Diamonds.
Good morning, class. A quick head count. Tiffany.
Here.
Zach.
Yup.
Steven. Is he absent again?
For many kids, just getting to school feels like a challenge. Staying through graduation is even harder. That's where Communities in Schools comes in. A powerful community of caring adults, working with vulnerable kids in schools every day, helping them overcome the barriers that stand in the way of learning. Hunger, homelessness, health problems, and even emotional trauma. Communities in Schools. We're inside schools partnering with teachers and counselors, empowering at-risk kids by providing supportive relationships, doing whatever it takes to help them thrive in school and have brighter futures. Communities in Schools. We're in schools to help kids stay in school. See how we help all kids succeed at communitiesinschools.org.
If you don't have Safe Touch monitoring, there's a good chance your system is getting monitored from someone's home. Yes, work from home has come to the security industry, but not at Safe Touch Security. At Safe Touch, that is totally unacceptable and doesn't meet UL requirements. At Safe Touch Security, our monitoring center is committed to maintaining our high standards. The only guaranteed response in the alarm industry with an incredible 8-second average. And our two-way communicator provides the very fastest response from the emergency authorities for burglary, medical, and fire. And the Safe Touch crash and smash technology detects crime before it enters the property. Our halo of protection and Safe Touch cameras report crime before it happens many times. And every Safe Touch security system is custom designed for you and comes with our exclusive Safe Touch parts and labor agreement at no charge. Safe Touch security systems have a guaranteed response and are installed by real professionals. Know you and your family are safe and protected the right way. Go to safetouch.com right now for more information. Safe Touch, doing what others can't for over 35 years. State license number EF0000233.
Skip a meal during COVID-19 for Clara White Mission by sponsoring Breakfast to Go for the homeless. It only costs $25 for 13 meals a day, $50 for 25 meals, or donate $500 to feed 250 homeless for a day. Join us as an individual, business, church, or civic association. Skip a meal for the Clara White Mission today. Visit clarawhitemission.org and click on Give Now or call 904-354-4162. Clara White Mission, over 116 years of service to our community.
Say hello to your new secret advertising weapon, your own branded mobile phone number. StarStar Mobile provisions vanity mobile numbers prefixed by ***, providing audiences an easy way to reach your business. Give it a try now by dialing *** Mobile from your mobile phone. That's *** Mobile.
Too often, senior citizens face struggles, from healthcare concerns to financial issues to loneliness. Get support for yourself or your loved one by calling Elder Source's free helpline at 1-888-242-4464 today.
Everyone's loving what Diamonds Direct is doing right now. It's the best stimulus plan ever. 5 years, 0 interest financing on any purchase with no money down. It's Diamonds Direct's way of helping you make your money go further as we all look forward to better days. Just pick any item in Diamonds Direct showcases. Get the amazing value price you know we're known for. Make no down payment and spread your payments over 5 years without paying a dime in interest. That means a $6,000 designer ring is yours for just $100 a month. This makes everything more affordable at a time when we need it most. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands, colored gemstones, designer fashion jewelry. Take the price price, divide by 60, and that's your payment. You can even finance the sales tax. Celebrate summer, celebrate life, celebrate love with Diamonds Direct's most spectacular offer ever. 5 years, 0 interest with nothing down. Now for a limited time on approved credit. Diamonds Direct.
Off Town Center Parkway.
I call them 3 shirt days. That's when the summer heat in Jacksonville just sizzles. It's relentless, and you want to be prepared for it. Bold City Heating and Air will help you do that. Nothing worse than sweating in your own home and wondering, hey, what happened to the AC? We've been there before. Your air conditioning unit needs to be ready for the heat. It might need to get serviced. The hot weather is here, and Bold City Heating and Air is here for you, just like they have been for my family the last couple of years. Right now, it's $25 off an annual maintenance. Bold City will thoroughly service, clean, and test your system to ensure it is working efficiently. Then you'll be comfortable this summer, all summer. After the $25 off, it's just $70. Book your maintenance service now and save. Save now, beat the heat. Visit boldcityac.com or call 904-379-1648 to schedule. Mirza and his staff are ready to take care of you and your family. Be bold and beat the heat and make it a one-shirt day, even in the summer heat. Go to boldcityac.com.
We've always had villains to face.
Bad guys to take down.
But you
are the most horrible of all.
We're not here because we have to be.
We're here because we've had enough of you.
We all have the power to do something.
To stand up to cancer.
Every single one of us is mortal.
But inside of us, we're all heroes.
So stand up with us.
Stand up to fight.
Stand up to cancer. Visit standuptocancer.org to learn more.
For the ones we trust to always be there. For the ones caring for others. For the ones who keep things going, no matter where they are. In extraordinary times, extraordinary people step up, like the ones standing guard and standing on the front lines, and the ones who are staying apart while still working together. With your efforts, we will get through this. We're grateful for all you do. Visit Grainger.com for resources that can help as you create your recovery plan. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm Thea Jeffers, owner of Breezy Jazz Club and T-Works Interior Decorating. It doesn't matter where you come from, it's possible to own your own business. But starting a business isn't easy. The Jacksonville Women's Business Center helped give me the confidence to keep going when the going got tough. At JWBC, I got the training, networking, and support I needed to help me reach my goals. To find out more about how JWBC can help you, visit jaxwbc.com.
This is Pastor Abraham Lincoln Washington, and it's time for the truth. In life, there are people that wait for it to happen, there are people that watch it happen, and then there are people that make it happen. And I'm going to tell you this. If it doesn't happen in your life, it was because you were watching and waiting when you should have been making it happen. This has been Pastor Abraham Lincoln Washington, and the truth will make you free.
Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Hope you catch the show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. But if you can't catch it, or if you want to go back and listen again, check out the Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 podcast. Just search ESPN 690 in your podcast app.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
I don't know that what I will call a casual basketball fan who is not specifically an NBA fan is going to want to tune into this unless there's some sort of added value. And I say that because I'm going to need some entertainment beyond just the basketball if you're all shacked up in Disney. I need those reality shows of what they're doing when they're not there. And I'm actually being serious about this. I need more coverage behind the scenes because it'll be as interesting how they do it as it is what they do.
Clinton Yates from the Undefeated. Do you really need more than just sports right now? I mean, can we do one thing at a time, man? How about just play ball? I mean, I'd be okay with that. If they want to go hide in their rooms after that, I don't need a reality show for that. I mean, I get the idea of it, but I don't need it. Maybe by like middle of August, I'll need that.
Yeah.
But I doubt I will because then by then you have football and all this other stuff.
We're going to have a full play, Brent.
Let's just play ball.
Let's just play ball. I like it.
One thing, Submarine Mike jumping in on this, and I appreciate him doing this. We read that about players having the chance to opt out. and I guess we kind of glossed through this one critical part. The key words in the opt-out clause says submarine Mike, high risk, meaning high risk for corona, diabetics, anyone immune suppressed player. So that makes a little more sense. Although I still don't know if our viewpoint is totally wrong on it, because players could then, is there wiggle room for excuses? Not excuse, that sounds wrong, but leniency
Examples.
for,
yeah.
All right, I think I'm a little more susceptible because, what's the cutoff? And so the whole point of that, by the way, with Major League Baseball coming out, the latest proposal is they said they would get their year of service. They would get paid even if they weren't allowed to play or able to play because of these high-risk conditions. Be interesting to see what those high-risk conditions would be, although those make sense if you have coronavirus or you are susceptible, then more susceptible than others to coronavirus. So thanks to Submarine Mike for that clarification, because that was a big part of it. Because that would put a guy like maybe Mike Trout, let's just say he's in great health and hasn't had any issues. Well, then he's got to play.
Yep.
Or he's not going to get paid.
Correct.
So then that would be a big part of it. Thing we talked about here on the show earlier, and I wanted to get to, with the NBA firing back up in late July, which, again, seems like a lifetime away. It's still, I'm having a hard time wrapping my arms around that. At least Major League Baseball has said, hey, if we can get to an agreement, they threw out some dates, apparently, like spring training would start in the next 10 days. Mm-hmm. Well, at least then I feel like something's happening. Maybe when the NBA goes to their camps and for a couple of weeks and starts bouncing the ball again. I know they've been to their team facilities, but it's not doing much for me.
Yeah.
So this just seems so far off. Nonetheless, the Lakers and the Bucks are the two favorites to win the championship.
Yes.
That was the case before they stopped.
Correct.
I think that's the case still.
Yeah.
The Clippers are very much in that conversation.
Yep.
That's it, though, right? I mean, in terms of heavy favorites to win, that's the conversation.
You go to Vegas real quick to see?
Those three teams.
Let's go to Vegas real quick to see.
I would agree with that, yes.
So, yes, you have other good teams. Toronto, the Celtics. Could the Sixers get back and play? They're healthy now. Mm-hmm. Those teams, I'm not saying they can't win. The question is, who would you pick as a sleeper to make noise? In what essentially now has been a 2.5, 3 month, by the time they play, almost 4 month respite, whether that means rust, whether that means better health for some, who else would you put in the conversation and maybe roll the dice on?
So to look at Vegas right now, there are three teams that are obviously the favorites. You have the Los Angeles Lakers coming in at plus 250, Milwaukee Bucks plus 250, Los Angeles Clippers plus 333. The next team that's favored to win is the Houston Rockets plus 1,300.
So there's distinct three.
There's an aggressive drop-off after the Los Angeles Clippers.
Where are the Nuggets at if they have them on there?
Plus 3,000. They're kind of in the middle of the pack.
I'm honestly surprised because they're my sleeper team.
Keep going, just so we get an idea.
All right.
What else you have?
Welcome to Betting Hour with Austin Lane. All right, so we got Rockets plus 1,300, Boston Celtics plus 2,000, Toronto Raptors plus 2,200, Philadelphia 76ers plus 2,800, Denver Nuggets plus 3,000, Miami Heat plus 3,000, Utah Jazz plus 3,300, Dallas Mavericks plus 4,000, Brooklyn Nets plus 8,000, Oklahoma City plus 10,000, and so on and so on.
Go get it, Billy D.
I guess one that can stand out because now he's back, Zion Williamson, back for the Pelicans, plus 12,500 to win the championship.
That'd be something.
It's a lot, yeah. So there you go.
Your sleeper's good. That's good. That's a good pick.
You look
3,
at the
3,000?
record. They were one game back from the Clippers, and I think that makes them 3 or 4 back from the Lakers. Like they are and have been a really dominant team the past 2 years. So maybe some extra rest helps them.
You guys watch this much more than I do on a night in, night out basis. But you know how some teams in all sports are built for the regular season, some are built for the postseason. Mm-hmm. Is there someone like that, that we're not thinking about? It's like, hey, if you get in, doesn't matter where you get in, look out. They're dangerous.
Well, I mean, we had the debate that I thought in terms of 8th seed who would actually have a chance to maybe even get a game from the Lakers. I don't think it's one of those like you can actually win.
Yeah.
But I thought the Portland Trailblazers would be the best to actually potentially get a game because of Damian Lillard and the experience compared to the Grizzlies or the Pelicans. And now with Aldridge, I'm just kind of wrote the Spurs off, honestly.
So you're basically saying if you're in that 6, 7, 8 hole, you really don't have a chance.
Well, yeah. See, but that's where I disagree. That's why, because my sleeper is the Mavericks. I think the Dallas Mavericks with Porzingis. Listen, Porzingis was brought there for a reason, and to start out the season, he was struggling a little bit. Like he didn't really find that rhythm playing with Luka. But if you remember, towards the end of before COVID-19 hit, Porzingis was playing very well, and they call him the unicorn for a reason. Like when he's on, he's a very hard guy to figure out. And I think when you add Luka Doncic, which is one of I think the best point guards right now in the entire NBA, I think you have a super dynamic offense that can take on a team like the Clippers. Assuming that the Mavericks would be like the 8 or 7 seed, I think they can. At least make things interesting. So I have one sleeper from each side. I got the Mavericks from the West, and then obviously my sleeper from the East. It's not really a sleeper, but I think the Celtics can make some noise as well.
Well, I think it counts as a sleeper in this discussion because, again, people think there are 3 teams that can win it.
Yeah.
I thought the Miami Heat were I know they've had a very nice season. I thought they were a little high on the Vegas board. The team I was thinking of before you listed off the odds was Utah.
Okay.
And
plus
I guess
3,300.
But they kind of fall in that Denver category, right?
Correct.
I mean, but do they have enough?
I almost put Denver as almost close to the tier with the Clippers, Lakers, and Bucks. I would say they are the next one there in my list if I had to tier it. And then right below them would be the Utah Jazz. There's something about the
right?
Jazz that makes me a little nervous.
Wouldn't it be wild, like if somehow like Utah goes on a run because keep in mind it was Rudy Gobert that kind of really stopped the sports world. That kind of got it going. It was the tipping point, and Utah goes on a run.
If they do that, Austin's going to learn all about Joe Ingles then.
Oh, I know, man. we have to remember too here is like, how do we approach this? Because we've never really seen this before. Like, are we going to shift more towards the defensive-oriented teams that are going to be more successful, or is it going to be like the offensive juggernauts like the Houston Rockets? Because one side could say, well, they've had a lot of time off, so the offense could look kind of sloppy, right? The offense could be kind of hurting a little bit. So does that kind of improve it for a little bit of a defensive-minded team who plays kind of that tough and dirty defense?
In that side of the argument, you could also go back to James Harden specifically, where he's kind of fizzled out the past few years in the playoffs, and maybe having a month or two to rest does give him that extra ability to kind of push through this time.
I'm glad you said that because I was thinking we're not talking about Houston. I mean, does Houston have it? Can they do it? I mean, the last 2 years we've talked about Houston maybe being the team. I mean, there are a lot of people that thought they could do it. Is it just because they haven't been able to show it? Harden hasn't been clutch enough, hasn't been able to deliver, that people have just kind of lost hope on Houston?
No, I think people, and maybe from a glance, right? You look over, you see them in the 6th seed, but then again, you look at the actual win-loss record. They had 40 wins, which, one more extra win gets them in 4th place.
Third
place.
It's so
bunched
close.
Up. It's so bunched.
So therefore, a 6th seed could.
Yeah,
they're the lowest seed that probably could win it all.
See,
Yeah, but I would say also for Austin's argument, the Mavericks are also 40 wins right now.
Yeah.
So maybe even the 7th seed.
My only argument,
they can't win
it. First of all, who are your sleepers?
I took Utah.
Oh, Utah got. Okay. Anyways,
they're a sleeper for a reason.
so are the Mavericks. So don't make fun of my pick. But I'm gonna say this about the Rockets right now. I think overall people are kind of surprised how well Russell Westbrook and James Harden have meshed so far. Now, you have to keep in mind though, playoff James Harden is different than regular season James Harden. Playoff Russell Westbrook is different than regular season Russell Westbrook, because when it comes down to it, each guy wants the ball in his hand and try to carry his team. And I'm not sure how that's going to coexist, depending on how these series shake out here. But I just wonder, like, once the heat gets turned up a little bit, and obviously the stars have to come to the forefront and lead their teams, exactly how is it going to work in this kind of offense? I'm not sure. Given
the load management phrase of the NBA, but given something you just said about Harden, who benefits the most from the layoff is going to be a question people will talk about.
Yeah.
But seriously thinking, you bring up 2 players. I think LeBron comes to mind, and I think Harden does come to mind. I mean, there's so much on him. And obviously there's a bunch on LeBron, but also you factor in age, 35 years old, 17 seasons, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Are we missing anybody? I mean, I know you could make the case for a lot of different guys, but is there, like, Giannis, he's a young guy. Feels like he can play forever, right?
So I think overall, though, it could probably benefit the Milwaukee Bucks more than anybody just because of the style of play that the Milwaukee Bucks play, okay? Keep in mind, right now, 7 of the 8 defensive, like the highest defensive rated guys in the NBA are from the Milwaukee Bucks. 7 of 8 in the NBA defensive rated guys are in the Milwaukee Bucks.
Well, your hope's the defense then.
Well, obviously, I'm a little biased here, but my point is, obviously, when you play the more like the grinding, even like the Memphis Grizzlies, like they play a good style of grinding and playing good defense. Well, that can take a toll on you, especially during the season. Like, you can only do that for so long before your body breaks down. Now that you've had that break, now that you've had that time off to kind of recoup your body a little bit, you can go back to playing that aggressive defense. And now I get it, man. It's the playoffs and everybody plays a style of defense, and I understand that. But who you are is who you are, okay? The Houston Rockets are the Houston Rockets. They're not just going to all of a sudden play defense out of nowhere, okay? So, like, in terms of the defensive mind teams, kind of like the 76ers, too, because I agree with this as well. I mean, I think long teams that play good defense are going to benefit from this.
Interesting. NBA sleeper teams got a lot of time before they play a game and see what happens. Aldridge obviously being out changes a little bit of the dynamic of what could happen in Orlando, but it's coming up shortly enough. Some news at least a report on ESPN. Dalvin Cook says he is no longer participating in any team-related activities until he receives what is determined to be a reasonable deal. Apparently they talked last week but have no future talks in their plans. Cook has a 1 year, $1.3 million left on his deal. It's interesting when it comes to the running back spot, and especially a guy that had an ACL, but he also looks like he's very promising,
when
right?
He's a difference maker.
Been great.
Yeah,
I mean, he's which is cool. I always liked Dalvin Cook at Florida State, and he's a good one, no doubt about it. A couple other football notes that we didn't really talk about much today. Ken Riley passed away. You believe Ken Riley? Did you see this story? He was 72 years old. He lived in Jacksonville for a bit. Gene Fournette tweeted about him. I did not know that, I think, for a decade. But Florida A&M quarterback coach, not quarterback coach, quarterback/coach /AD at one time for the Rattlers. Played 15 seasons for the Cincinnati Bengals, 65 interceptions. So he changed over to, when he made the NFL, to corner. I think it's 5th all time, man. He's not in the Hall of Fame. How can you be 5th all time and not be in the Hall of Fame with 65 interceptions? That's a crime that he's not in.
Obviously,
if you're top 5 in any category in the NFL, you're eventually getting it or should be it.
How many All-Pros did he get?
I don't know. I don't have the resume in front of me.
I can look him up real quick. I mean, I understand, man. 5th all time, and I'm sure the guys around him are probably in the Hall of Fame already. Let's be honest.
You would think,
yeah. So
who are the top 5 guys interceptions all time? I mean, it's Deion, Woodson.
Yeah. Do you want me to look it up while you keep it talking?
Look it up. Give it to me. Who else? Let's see who else would be on that list. Charles Woodson. How about Rod Woodson? Would he be on the list? How about Haynes, former corner out of from the Oakland Raiders? Might have been the LA Raiders.
Interception career leaders. We got Paul Krause, number 1 in 81 interceptions. Do you know who that guy is? Paul Krause. Paul Krause.
Give me a little more on Paul Krause.
He played from 64 to 79 with 2 teams. Played,
it's a young man show.
Played for Washington and Minnesota. Hey, man, I'm not older than you are. Emlyn Tunnel, number 2, 79.
I've heard of him.
Okay, Rod Woodson. There we go. Woo! And we're back. I can breathe. Okay. Woo! All right, Rod Woodson coming in at number 3. Night Train Lane, number 4.
Okay, that makes sense.
Ken Riley, Charles Woodson, number 5.
They're tied?
Yep. At 65.
Hey, I got two of the guys in the top 5.
Ed Reed, number 7. Number 8, Ronnie Lott and Darren Sharper, surprisingly. Darren Sharper, number 8.
So Ronnie Lott does not surprise me at all. It's interesting. Those guys from the safety position, like Ed Reed.
Yeah.
In this day and age, you can get a lot more picks. But I was thinking cornerbacks, but more so. Where's Deion? Is he even? Of course, he had less chances because they wouldn't throw his way.
24 with Ty Law.
24th all time.
53.
Isn't that wild? Like, if you took somebody, right?
Yep.
Say take like Ty.
Yeah.
Right? And he doesn't watch TV ever or whatever, doesn't know anything about it. I was like, hey, yeah, Ty, 24th all time in interceptions for Deion Sanders. And I'd be like, he's the best guy ever. He'd be like, 24th all time? What do you mean he's the best guy ever? Right?
Yeah. You know what's crazy about Ken Riley here? That's really insane. So he played how many seasons?
15, I think.
15 seasons. Never once was a Pro Bowler. Was a first-team All-Pro his last season. And then he retired.
Wow.
Only season he was All-Pro.
So he must have been like 36, 37 years old at that time.
First team, yeah.
Another football note, Rashae Caldwell shot and killed in Tampa. Former Gator, obviously 7-year vet in the NFL, played for the Redskins, the Patriots, the Chargers. One of the all-timers at Florida. Steve Spurrier had nice words to say about him. Of course, the Caldwell family, big name in Gainesville when it comes to catching passes. Bubba Caldwell's brother is the all-time leading receiver in terms of receptions at Florida. So sad news, Rashae Caldwell, who after his football career, I was reading up, had some struggles anyway, but it was attempted robbery in Tampa, shot and killed over the weekend. He was just 41 years old. So some of the news and notes out of the NFL. One other thing we really didn't spend a lot of time on, college football kind of is back. The fact that we use the word voluntary in quotes, I know, but the fact that kids are back on campus playing college, at least working out, are you like that conversation about college football playing in the spring, college football maybe has to push back 2 months? You feel like it's a go?
Yeah.
I mean, in your mind, we have no idea, but... Mm-hmm.
It feels like a go to me.
Yeah, like high school football over the weekend and late last week issued Duval County. They can get back to like conditioning and weightlifting and stuff. To me, it feels like, and we had Bobby Ramsey on, it's like Fridays are going to happen. Like it feels, I don't know what it looks like.
Sure.
Same thing with college football. It feels like it's happening. It doesn't feel like it's happening next spring or anything like that.
It's a foregone conclusion. Now, whether they can remain going, we'll see. But right now, all systems ahead.
I don't even feel like there's a hiccup between now and then that could stop it from going on. What I wonder is the hiccup of maybe this second wave or whatever else, or what you brought up earlier on the show, and that would be, well, what if 25 guys on a team get it? Will that alarm everybody? Will everybody's kind of peel back and say, whoa, we can't do this? It'll be interesting. But I think it feels like more than ever, and maybe because they're back on campus and working out, and maybe because my kids are playing softball and baseball now, I don't know, that it doesn't feel like the football season's in jeopardy in any way.
Yeah.
Right now, at least in my own mind. That'll do it for Monday. We'll do it again tomorrow, 3 o'clock here on ESPN 690. Thanks for hanging with us, and I'll see you on TV tonight, CBS 47 and Fox 30.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Gonna give me some of that
Kuz.
It's unreal.
That's the most impressive thing Kuz has ever done.
Oh, without a doubt.
Here on the show.
That was very nice.
It's the best use of star 690 ever.
Listen weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. in your car or stream them. ESPN690.com.
Beard's Diamonds has been busy the last few weeks, preparing their showcases for the largest inventory of wedding bands in North Florida.
So if you're getting married soon or just want to update your bands, you don't want to miss Beard's Diamonds spectacular wedding band sale.
Now through this Sunday, buy any ladies' wedding band and get the men's band free.
Yes, free, and only at Beard's Diamonds. But hurry, this sale ends this Sunday.
Beard's Diamonds has brought in extra inventory just for the sale.
All stackable, all right-hand rings, all eternity bands, and wedding bands.
The largest selection of men's and women's wedding bands in North Florida, all at the guaranteed lowest price.
It's the buy one, get one sales event of the summer.
Buy any ladies' wedding band and get the men's band free.
Going on now through Sunday, only at Beard's Diamonds.
Where exceptional is affordable.
Beard's Diamonds at the St. John's Town Center.
Or at beardsdiamonds.com. Now more than ever, you need the open road. Windows down, wind in your hair, pure freedom. Then go see our friends over at Arlington Toyota, because their massive construction sale was made to put you behind the wheel today. Think you can't afford a new ride? Think again. At Arlington, you choose 0 down with low payments or no payments until 2021. Get into Arlington today where you can drive away in a new Toyota Corolla for $199 a month with 0 down or no payments till 2021. That's a pre-owned Corolla for $199 down with 0 down or no payments until 2021. 2021? How about a Toyota Camry for $249 a month with 0 down or no payments till 2021? That's a pre-owned Camry for $249 a month with nothing down or no payments till 2021. Plus, with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And you get Arlington's 30-day exchange policy on any vehicle you purchase. As always, your safety is Arlington's priority. Go see them today, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit Arlington Toyota /June offers for full details.
This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida, big and small, but businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open for you.
Best Fence and Rail, Peterbrook Chocolatier, Nona Blue Modern Tavern, Navis Pack and Ship, Georgie's Diner.
If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we're getting through this.
Diamonds Direct celebrates the reopening of our local economy with our most amazing offer ever. 5 years, 0 interest financing with no money down on anything and everything. Yes! Now, for a limited time, Diamonds Direct is doing our part to help you get back to normal and celebrate your love like never before. Our prices and values are the best ever. Our showcases are fully stocked, and we're letting you buy now with nothing down, and you can spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest. Been putting off that engagement? Get her a $6,000 designer ring now and pay just $100 a month. Did you miss celebrating that anniversary? How about a $3,000 Diamond Eternity band for just $50 a month? Summer is the season for love, and we're doing all we can to make this summer one to remember with exceptional values, extra selection, and the most exceptional finance opportunity. 5 years, 0 interest on approved credit. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Off Town Center Parkway.
If you don't have Safe Touch monitoring, there's a good chance your system is getting monitored from someone's home. Yes, work from home has come to the security industry, but not at Safe Touch Security. At Safe Touch, that is totally unacceptable and doesn't meet UL requirements. At Safe Touch Security, our monitoring center is committed to maintaining our high standards. The only guaranteed response in the alarm industry with an incredible 8-second average. And our two-way communicator provides the very fastest response from the emergency authorities for burglary, medical, and fire. And the Safe Touch crash and smash technology detects crime before it enters the property. Our halo of protection and Safe Touch cameras report crime before it happens many times. And every Safe Touch security system is custom designed for you and comes with our exclusive Safe Touch parts and labor agreement at no charge. Safe Touch security systems have a guaranteed response and are installed by real professionals. Know you and your family are safe and protected the right way. Go to safetouch.com right now for more information. Safe Touch, doing what others can't for over 35 years. State license number EF0000233.
I call them 3 shirt days. That's when the summer heat in Jacksonville just sizzles. It's relentless, and you want to be prepared for it. Bold City Heating and Air will help you do that. Nothing worse than sweating in your own home and wondering, hey, what happened to the AC? We've been there before. Your air conditioning unit needs to be ready for the heat. It might need to get serviced. The hot weather is here, and Bold City Heating and Air is here for you, just like they have been for my family the last couple of years. Right now, it's $25 off an annual maintenance. Bold City will thoroughly service, clean, and test your system to ensure it is working efficiently. Then you'll be comfortable this summer. All summer. After the $25 off, it's just $70. Book your maintenance service now and save. Save now, beat the heat. Visit boldcityac.com or call 904-379-1648 to schedule. Mirza and his staff are ready to take care of you and your family. Be bold and beat the heat and make it a one-shirt day, even in the summer heat. Go to boldcityac.com.
Did you know that you have the power to positively impact a local child's life? It's as easy as donating to Daniel, Florida's oldest child service agency. Daniel provides counseling to abused children. Daniel helps homeless teens find shelter and learn to live independently. Daniel connects kids with foster families and strengthens at-risk families so they can stay together. They've done all this and more for 135 years. Please become a part of improving the lives of local children and families by donating at danielkids.org today.
This message is brought to you by Community First Credit Union.
Stop for a minute. Take a breath. Jacksonville is going to be just fine. For our businesses, our schools, our neighborhoods, our beaches, our lives. All of us at Community First realize that no one has all the answers to what we're facing. But after more than 80 years in Jacksonville, we do know this. Things get better when people stick together. So we'll get through this to a better, brighter future. in Jacksonville.
Federally insured by NCUA.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Through on this, and look, as one league source told me and pointed out, he said he would peacefully protest, and maybe he will actually hit the streets at some point with these players. I think that would resonate a great deal. And so, the statement didn't include police officers. It didn't include Colin Kaepernick, but it did show a commissioner who's trying to at least take some positive steps.
Now to the Cap